So with the context of how a lot of people have um, they've made it a relationship as it was one of like a sexual indiscretion, like they were involved with each other because the friendship was um, so close. You're fine. Okay, so when you do the study of it, um, understanding who Jonathan was and then understanding who David was. So Saul was chosen. So Jonathan was Saul's son. And so understanding who Saul is, Saul was chosen. So he was chosen as a king, and he kind of started messing up along the way. So Saul started messing up. And so God sent Samuel and told Samuel, I need another king and I need a person that's after my heart, that believe that's a man after my own heart. So when we talk about David, David was a man after God's own heart. That's what we always hear in the scripture context. Okay, so Jonathan realizes who David is. And so when you read a lot of the context, um, when you find out who David was, David became a minstrel for Saul. So Saul would he would have like I don't even want to call it like a mental health issue. So Saul would have a mental health issue, and David was the minstrel. So David would come in and play music to soothe Saul's soul. Okay, so Samuel anoints David. So, chapter 16, when you go through it, you'll see who Saul is, and then you get to chapter 16. And this is when Saul anoints David, because at this point, when you go back to chapter 15, um, the Lord just now, he rejects Saul as the king. So, when you start, you got to kind of, it's like a story. So, you'll see chapter 15, God rejects Saul. So, he tells him, he tells Samuel, I am the one, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you over the king of the people. So listen now to the message from the Lord. So now Samuel is, was he a major? I think Samuel was a minor prophet. So Samuel hears and he goes to Saul and he tells him, this is what happened. So Saul had did some things prior to, and so we get to chapter 15 and he tells him, this is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Don't spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. So he's like, kill everybody, kill all of the Amalekites because of what they did to the children of the people that came from Egypt. So the slaves, the ones that were free. Okay. So Saul summoned the men and mustered them to Telam, 200,000 foot soldiers and 200,000 foot soldiers, 10,000 from Judah. Saul went into the city of Amalek and set to ambush in the ravine. Then he said to the Kenites, go away, leave the Amalekites so that I do not destroy you along with them. For you showed kindness to all the Israelites when they came out of Egypt. So the Canaanites moved away from the Amalekites. Then Saul attacked the Amalekites, all of whom, all the way from Havilah to Shur near the east border of Egypt. He took Agag the king, King Agag. So, okay. So the Amalekites alive, the king of the Amalekites, he took the king. This is where he messed up. So he took the king alive and all the people he totally destroyed with the sword. But Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep cattle. Now, what did God tell him in the beginning? Kill everybody, kill all of the Amalekites. He didn't care who they were, kill them all. But Saul, being disobedient, kept the king and he didn't do it. So Then the word of the Lord came to Samuel. He said, I regret that I have made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out my instructions. That's a good message in itself for anybody. Okay, that's a hefty message for anybody. You're not carrying out my message, so I regret that I even chose you, because now you're not doing what I told you to do. So Samuel was angry, and he cried out to the Lord all night. Early in the morning, Samuel got up and went to meet Saul, but he was told Saul had gone to Carmel. There, he had set up a monument in his own honor and has turned and gone to Gilgal. So now Saul has turned out to be not who God had wanted, because now he's doing things on his own accord and not God's. Okay. So as you read it, this is where now we get to chapter 16 when God says there's another one. But let's go back to 15, verse 27. Okay. So this is where we go. Da, 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 da. So Saul in verse 20 says, but I did obey the Lord. Saul said, I went on the mission the Lord assigned me. I completely destroyed the Amalekites and brought back Agag, their king. That is not what I told you to do, Saul. I told you to kill everybody, all the cattle, everything. There should not have been nothing left. But you brought back Agag, their king. The soldiers took the sheep and the cattle from the plunder, the best of what was devoted to God, in order to sacrifice them to the Lord our God, your God, at Gilgal. But Samuel replied, this is me, but that ain't what he told you to do. Okay. That's not what he said. So what Samuel says is, does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices? Okay. So he told you to kill everybody, cattle, everything. And you take cattle that he don't want and you bring it to the altar and you think that he wants that. He don't want that. That's not what he asked you to do. Okay? So he says, as much as you obeying the Lord, to obey is better than sacrifice. You remember that scripture, Zacchaeus? That little saying they tell us? Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
Better than you to be obedient, Saul, than to sacrifice. Now you have lost everything. Okay? That's what he said. He said, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of the rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. You have sat out here and you have put your ego ahead of what God has told you to do. What is wrong with you, Saul? That's not what he said. Okay. He said, because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has now rejected you as king. My God, that's a message in itself. Okay. If I tell you to do something, and if you think about Jonah, don't do what you want to do. Do as I say. I told you to go over there, kill all of the Amalekites, the cattle, the dogs, the birds, the kids, the children, the babies, the mamas, the dad, everybody, even the king. He shouldn't even be alive. But you went over there and you did what you wanted to do, put your ego ahead of everything, and now he's rejected you. Then Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned. Um, I violated the Lord's command and your instructions. I was afraid of the men, and so I gave in to them. Now I beg you, forgive my sin and come back to me so that I may worship the Lord. But Samuel said to him, no, no, no. He said, I will not go back with you. You have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you as king over Israel. Hmm. So now 27 is where you got to pay attention. Verse 27 says, as Samuel turned to leave, Saul caught the hold of the hem of his robe, and it tore. Oh, and then he says, Samuel said to him, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today. Oh, my God. Woo. He said, and has given it to one of your neighbors, to one better than you. Now you hear that and you're like, what? Can you imagine God saying, I have given your gift. I have taken your kingdom and I'm giving it to somebody better than your neighbor, one that's better than you. And Saul lost his mind. I promise you he did.
The one that you probably been beefing with.
Right. And you think about the person. And so when you kind of put it in the context of how we live in today's time, Think about a person that um that you're jealous of or things like that. You know what I'm saying? And then it becomes that thing where God is like, and if I told you to go and do this thing, because we all guilty. I have told you to go and do this. I've told you to go live. I've told you to write the book. I've told you to do this. I've told you to do the t-shirts. I've told you to do all these things. And you decide, well, I'm not going to do it. I just, or I have to do it. Because that's what Saul did. Saul did what he wanted to do because he said, I was afraid. I was afraid of them. Ooh, message in itself. When we get afraid, we do bare minimum or we do what we want to do. Our ego steps in and we're just like, oh, I'll just do a little bit. I'll do everything. I'll just do a little smidge. God's like, now because that's not what I told you to do. Thank God for grace. Because in the Old Testament, I don't really think God gave grace. I honestly don't think he gave grace, even when Lot was there. Lot was just begging, if I can find 500, can I find, if I can find 50 people, you not burn it up? Nope. If you can find them. But he just went in and he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. He's like, I'm not going to keep doing this. You think about Noah. What if Noah hadn't have built the ark? Noah and his family would have drowned. You think when he says move, you better move. Pay attention. Lesson from Saul. All right. Saul says, he who is in the glory of Israel does not lie or change his mind, for he is not a human being. Highlight it in your Bible, 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 29. He who is in the glory, he who is the glory of Israel does not lie or change his mind, for he is not a human being that he should change his mind. Who? I'm not finna change my mind. That's what God said. I'm not finna change. Saul said it. So Saul replied, I have sinned, but please honor me before the elders of my people and before Israel. Come back with me so that I may worship the Lord your God. So Samuel went back with Saul, and Saul worshiped the Lord. A little too late, but okay. Then Samuel said, bring me Agag, king of the Amalekites. Agag came to him in chains, and he thought, surely the bitterness of death is past. But Samuel said, no, no. As your sword has made women childless, so will your mother be childless among women. Saul wasn't playing. I mean, Samuel wasn't playing. Then Sam left for Ramah, but Saul went up with him, up to his home in Gibeah of Saul until the day Samuel died. He did not go see Saul again. Though Samuel mourned for him, the Lord regretted that he had made Saul king. Samuel, Saul. Okay, so Samuel died. So anyway, now we go to 16. This is when Samuel anoints David. Okay, so Saul has not seen Samuel since this incident, but Saul goes and he anoints David. So we see David. Now we have David goes to Saul's service. This is in chapter 4, in verse 14. Okay. He's chosen. He goes in. Saul attends to him, attendant said to him, see, an evil spirit from God is tormenting you. Let your Lord command his servant here to search for someone who can play the lyre, so he will play when the evil spirit from God comes on you, and you will feel better. So Saul said to the attendants, find someone who will play, who plays well, and bring him to me. And it happened to be David. Happened to be David. So one of the servants answered, I have seen the son of Jesse. Now, mind you, Samuel has already gone and anointed him. Seen this guy named Jesse. He said he's brave. He knows how to play the lyre. Close my door. Thank you. And then you could come back when you're done. Okay. He says, one of the servants answered, I have seen a son of Jesse of Bethlehem who knows how to play the lyre. He is a brave man and a warrior. He speaks well and is a fine looking gentleman. He's a little sexy. Okay. He's a and sent and the Lord is with him. Then Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said, send me your son David. He goes, David goes. So I'm just kind of breaking it down to where we get to the friendship of these two. Okay. So this is now when David goes and he um, fights Goliath. David gets two. He said, listen, I don't need all of the garb. Okay. I just give me two stones and a slingshot, and I'm finna go ahead and handle this because he don't get to stand and talk about my God. Okay. So you don't get to do that. Okay. So that's what happens in chapter 17. And now we get down to chapter 18. So now Saul is going, he's fearful. Now he's becoming fearful. Your enemy, watch what you call friend, because they will become fearful of your growth. They will become fearful of your potential. They will become fearful of your gift. They will become fearful um, of your attributes. They will become fearful because they don't have what you have anymore. So Saul does not have the blessings of the Lord that maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. So that has been taken away from Saul. Saul is no longer covered by God. Okay. So he goes and now he's fearful of David. So this is where 18 comes. Okay. Chapter 18. After David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in the spirit with David, and he loved him as he loved himself. So we call that, is it phileo love? I want to say it's phileo. So phileo love is like a brotherly love. I love you as I love myself. Okay. So when we talk about when you read the text of how it looks a little suspicious, but it is the love like no other. It's a brother. I love you the way I love myself. Okay. Because I love myself so much, the love that Jonathan gave to David, he said he loved him as he loved himself, as himself. From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off his robe he was wearing and gave it to David along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. Whatever mission Saul sent him on, David was so successful that Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the troops and Saul's officers. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistines, you know, them Philistines and people that be talking about you behind your back, all the Philistines, you know, all them people. He said, the women came from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs and trembles and lyres. As they danced, they sang, Saul has slain thousands, and David has his tens of thousands. Saul was angry. Now Saul is mad. Okay. Jealousy is rising. It's just rising up in Saul. This refrain displeased him greatly. They had credited David with tens of thousands, he thought, but he had made only but me only thousands. What more can he get but the kingdom? So David has already been anointed king. So Saul is worried. Now he's a little worried. Now he's got you keep your friends close, but your enemies close. Wait, was it keep your enemies close, but your friends closer? So Saul is like, I got to keep you close because now I got to watch. Okay. So he says the next day, oh, wait. And what more can he do? And from that time on, Saul kept a close eye on David. You know how they be like, I'm watching. Saul is watching David. Verse 10 says, the next day, an evil spirit from God came forcefully. I mean, it just, it attacked, is what I'm saying. It attacked Saul. He was prophesying in the house while David was playing the lyre, as he usually did. Saul had a spear in his hand, and he hurled it, saying to himself, I'll pin David to the wall. but David eluded him twice. Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David. Um, but because the Lord was with David, but had departed from Saul. Oof. So he sent David away from him and gave him a command over thousands of men. And David led the troops and their campaigns. In everything he did, he had great success because the Lord was with him. In everything that you do, you will have great success because the Lord is with you. You will always have a Saul. You will always have a Judas. There will always be somebody that will try to tear you down because of who you are in the kingdom and because you do right by God and because you don't let your ego get in the way. So the whole message, okay? So we'll get down to Johnathan and David. All right. So let's talk about Johnathan and David. Johnathan and David had a connection, and this is the kind of friendship that you would want to have, not so much with the um, a fleshly person. You would want that relationship with a fleshly person, but you also want this relationship with God. And what does that look like? So there are seven attributes of this relationship with Saul and David. There was a covenant. So when you talk about a covenant, because Saul had made this covenant with God, I mean with Jonathan, with David, sorry. We'll discombobulate over here. So this covenant is their bond was considered a covenant, and it was like a sacred agreement where they promised to protect each other. Jonathan said, "I'm going to protect you from my daddy." We know he's crazy. We know he's a little nutty. Okay, so we're going to protect you from him. Okay, he protected him from each other and their families. So that was the first connection that they made because Jonathan made this covenant to David in verse 3 of chapter 18. So we get down and we say this bond of a close friendship between Jonathan and David describes the in the phrase, Jonathan became one in spirit with David. So the reason why we're doing this is because Derek, Derek Tangi, um,
Wow.
Derek brought it to my attention, and I've heard this in church where, well, not in church. There has been like people take the text out of context and they kind of labeled it as this, they were like lovers. So they kind of said David and Jonathan were lovers. And it wasn't necessarily that. It's just like this was like I loved him so much because I loved myself. And this was the friendship. And so that's where we get it. It's one in spirit. So when you read it out of the King James Version, I think it looks like they were but it was like that agape love. No, phileo love. It was like, this was my brother. It's the same way you love your sisters, your aunties, your uncles. It's like if you have one person that you love so much that you'll do anything for them. That's what this was. Okay. So in the Hebrew, it's nefesh, which is soul bound with soul. My soul is connected with your soul. So when we hear the word shalom, peace be with you. It's like there, my soul sees your soul. Um, and even I think with Ashe, it's my no, namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. When you hear a person say namaste, it is they're saying my soul sees your soul. So it's not the outer parts. It's like our soul connected. You ever met a person and you're just like, we just clicked. I mean, it was just like we just clicked. That is what happened with Jonathan and David. They met each other and they just clicked. It was like their souls connected and they were like, no one can break us apart. Think about Miss Celie and Nettie in Color Purple. Me and you must never part. I don't care if you could be millions of miles away from me. My soul connects with your soul. So here's an example of a Jonathan and David. I had a friend, and we were in church, and I think I told the ladies this story. So we met each other, but I don't remember her in the physical. I just remember talking to her on the phone. And we would always talk on the phone, and she would tell me, I remember you. And then I'm like, I don't remember you. So anyway, there was one particular day, I was I was trying to get my credit right. And I had made a decision that I was going to file bankruptcy. And she called me and I was trying to get all the documents together. I went to this guy, his name was Brian Bulldog. And so I was going down. He was like, you need to get all your documents together and you need to write me a check and you need to do all this stuff, da 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 da, so he could file my bankruptcy. And I come home and I'm sitting on my bed and I got all the paperwork on my bed. Now she's in Texas, I'm in Colorado. And she calls me, but I don't answer. I just let it go to voicemail. And then I checked the voice and like I was led to check the voicemails, but I'm still sitting on my bed with all these paperwork. And she says, Terrain, I don't know what you're about to do, but God said he shall supply your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. Now she had no idea that I was literally sitting on my bed right now, getting all of my bills so I can send it over to this man so I can file for bankruptcy. She's in Texas. I'm in Colorado. Hadn't told her anything, but I got the phone call. A Johnathan and David. My soul connects with your soul. That means I shouldn't, like, I have like, something ain't right. Let me call you. She called me and she left a message. I sat there, I put the phone down, and I was like, really? And I called her and I said, you have no idea what I was doing. She said, I was sitting here and I said, what? And she was like, I was reading my Bible and God told me to call you and tell you that. And I said, you want to know what I was doing? And she said, yeah. I said, I was literally filing for bankruptcy. And we just started crying with each other, a Johnathan and David, like because I heard God call me and tell me, hey, you ain't got to do all that. I'm going to supply your needs according to my riches and glory by Christ Jesus. You don't have to worry about that. Don't put your name out there like that. I got you. Okay. So I don't, that was like in the 90s, 98 to, no, I want to say the 2000s. I want to say around then. Okay. So the word love that they had here in the Hebrew is ahab. It is a term used in political, commercial, and friendship covenants. For ahab is a treaty or a covenant. We have made a covenant one to another. This is what happened with David and Jonathan. It says that the word um, is fitting in this context where Jonathan made a covenant of friendship with David. The characteristics of commitment, loyalty, affection, self-sacrifice, and responsibility understood in such covenants were evidenced um, in their purest form through the lives of Jonathan and David. So when you go through the whole context, there was a time where Saul was trying to kill David, if you read through it, and Jonathan had told him, "Let me go and talk to my dad. Let me just go chop it up with him." And he said, "If I shoot an arrow to the right, that means you stay. If I shoot it, I'm thinking probably backwards, but he said, if I shoot it to the left, that means you need to flee and you need to go because he's going to kill you." Friendship. Although that's my dad, my loyalty lies with David. Okay. So the sober sincerity of this relationship was demonstrated by its being stated, then reaffirmed four times. 1 Samuel 18:3, 20:16 and 42, chapter 20, verse 16, and then chapter chapter 20, verse 42, um, chapter 23, verse 18. Though the covenant was mutually binding, the circumstances put on a heavier burden on Jonathan. Um, and the sober vow was in chapter 20, verse 13. So we'll go there. So, verse 20, verse 13, he says, but if my father intends to do harm, may the Lord deal with Jonathan, but be it ever so severely. If I do not let you know and send you away in peace, may the Lord be with you as he has been with my father. Uh, so as a covenant, pledge, as a covenant pledge, Jonathan gave his robe, and that's a symbol of the kingdom. And we've seen that in chapter 15, verse 27, when the robe ripped from Saul, from Samuel, when he ripped it, and Samuel said, it's done. Okay, he has ripped that part. Um, Along with his weapons to David. This relatively common practice is antiquity indicated transfer of position. Okay, because Saul literally, Jonathan would have been next in line had Saul passed. It would have been Jonathan, but it's like transferring because Jonathan knew who he was. Jonathan was likely signifying acknowledgement and acceptance of God's choice of David as king by transferring, with complete disregard of himself, his place as heir to the throne of David, to David. So he's like, I know what God has given you. I'm not going to even try to fight you like my dad did because my loyalty lies with you because I know God is with you. And we connected. Okay. So in this summary, in the significant summary statement, obviously postdates the arrival of home and the army of David. Okay, so then we've passed that. So they get down to this. They have the covenant. They've made this covenant with each other. The second thing is loyalty despite the conflict. Jonathan is like, I'm still going to be loyal to you. So it's even though Saul is Jonathan's father, it says, and he became increasingly jealous of David. Jonathan remained steadfast in his friendship. And we probably go through that where I'm going to remain friends with you. Um, Symbolic gestures. This is in the Bible. Jonathan is depicted as giving David his own clothes, his armor, signifying the depth of their bond. It's like, you know how have people say, they give you the clothes off their back. This is like a friendship. So then it gets down to David's promise to protect Jonathan's family. Despite what was going on, because of what God had said to Saul, David still protected Jonathan. Okay. When David became king, he fulfilled his covenant by caring for Jonathan's family, particularly his son, Mephi, uh, can't say that baby's name. Okay. But anyway, it's a Beth, Mesobibeth or whatever. So then it is, sorry, y'all, I'm trying to get this together here. Um, nope, that's not it. Why do I have this? What's going on here? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Nope, that ain't it. Let me go to I have my notes. I took notes. Okay, here it is. All right. All right. So we have the covenant, loyalty. Um, Come on. Um, Covenant. Oh, sacrifice. So he gave him his clothes, loyalty. Did I do loyalty? Yes. Loyalty. Jonathan defended David against his father, King Saul, who was jealous of his military prowess. Okay. Emotional expression. David and Jonathan were free to express their emotions with each other, including a kiss and crying. Okay. So they kissed each other, cried because Jonathan of what Saul was doing. Planned for the future. David and Jonathan planned for David to be the next king of Israel with Jonathan as his minister. The final meeting, Jonathan and David had a tender goodbye in the wilderness of Ziph, where they kissed. Let's look at that, where they kissed, wept, and took an oath to be friends forever. I got to look that up. Hold,
I
please.
think that's why I was a little confused because of that part.
Yes. So, let's see. I'm going to find it for you. Now, the thing about it is when we read the text of it, and what chapter did you say it was in? Chapter 18. You told me the other day.
Let me see here because I don't remember as well. Um,
Oh, it has to be here. Here, there. Okay, so it's in chapter 20 and it starts in verse 38, I want to say. Um, well, it kind of starts in verse 30. What's the whole doggone thing? So Jonathan um is they go to dinner, and this is when all this happens. So Jonathan gets up from the table, and we go to 32, and he says, why should he be put to death? Now Saul gets mad in verse 30, chapter 20, verse 30. Gets mad. Saul's anger flared up at Jonathan, and he said to him, you son of a perverse and rebellious woman, don't I know that you have sided with the son of Jesse to your own shame and to the shame of the mother who bore you? As long as the son of Jesse lives in this earth, neither you nor kingdom will be established. Now send someone to bring him to me, for he has to die. So Saul is like, he's got to die at this point. Jonathan says, why should he be put to death? What has he done? Jonathan asked his father, but Saul hurled his spear at him to kill him. Then Jonathan knew that his father intended to kill David. Jonathan got up from the table in fierce anger. On that second day of the feast, he did not eat because he was grieved at his father's shameful treatment of David. In the morning, Jonathan went out to the field for his meeting with David. He had a small boy with him. He said to the boy, run and find the arrows I shoot. As the boy ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. When the boy came to the place where Jonathan's arrow had fallen, Jonathan called out after him, isn't the arrow beyond you? Then he shouted, hurry, go quickly, don't stop. The boy picked up the arrow, returned it to his master. The boy knew nothing about all this. Only Jonathan and David knew. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to the boy and said, go carry them back to town. After the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone. So this was where I was telling you he shot it to one way or whatever. Um, and he said, la la la, from the south side of the stone and bowed before David, south side of the stone, bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. Then he kissed each other and wept. But David wept the most. So let's talk about, I wonder if it's in there. No, it's not. Wait, no, hold on. No, it's not there. So when we think about the kiss, we don't know. We know that in that culture they would kiss, you know. So I think when we get into what it looked like and their relationship, it did look a little, look like they, had a little relation, but their relationship was one of friendship and loyalty and commitment and sacrifice and loyalty and death, and it was all of those things in a relationship. So when you have a friend like no other, you know how that we have a saying here in America that says a brother from another mother, or a sister from another mother, or a sister from another father. That's the relationship that we have with people. We have these relationships like the Sauls and David. We know that no matter what, if I'm going through anything, we know who we can call to say, hey, who's going to protect us, who's going to honor us, who's going to, have covenant with us, who's going to protect us. That is what this relationship was. So when we get down to the factoring of the culture and where they were, that's what that was. Had nothing to do with them sleeping together or anything. They were just very, very good friends, and they had a covenant with each other. Okay. It's even like that if you get married, you'd have a covenant with your spouse. Okay, so we don't get into the context of the homosexuality or things like that. It is the context of we are friends. You hear people say, "I married my best friend." That's what this is, because my best friend and I, we have a covenant. We've made a covenant before the Lord, saying our vows. We sacrifice for each other. We are loyal. We can express ourselves emotionally. Um, we plan for the future, right? We have the final meeting, and then death happens. So that's all that relationship was, Derek.
I guess I was like, that's very clarifying, yeah. But I guess I've been having like a hard week on, it's not about like acceptance, like self-acceptance, because I have accepted myself a long time ago.
Hmm.
But since I've become more like, I've been wanting to be more intimate with God,
Hmm.
and I follow like a few Christians here and there and listen to what they have to say on TikTok, for example, this whole community. I felt at some point like thrown stones at, you know?
Because you're
And I
gay.
didn't know like in what like box I would fit in. And then there was this other trend on TikTok of like young boys and girls as well, saying that it's very hard for you to love Jesus and love boys. It's very confusing. And I even wrote like a little something that I want to make a song out of it because I think that would help a lot of people, to know that they are not alone. It's not only them that feel that way. And I have been praying about it as well because anything I go through, I rather be honest than, just ignore. Even if
Hmm.
it's a weird, I just share. And
No,
and
with that,
yeah,
that's why we do this group. We literally come here and we share the most intimate parts of ourselves. But I want to hold you and I want to kind of get back to that. So when we have the relationship with God, when you think about when we talked about David and Saul, it was soul to soul. Okay. So yes, gay, the LGBT community, anybody can have a relationship with God. Why, Derek? They said it. It's soul to soul. It has nothing to do with your gender, your color of your skin. It has nothing to do with your ethnicity. It has everything to do, thank you, God, with your soul. My soul connects with God's soul. We are one. We are one in the spirit. That means that God and I have a covenant. We have sacrifice because we do sacrifice some things to be with Him. We sacrifice friendships. We sacrifice going out to the club. We sacrifice a lot of things when we build this soul to soul connection with God. What I used to do, I don't do anymore because I know that that's not me. And guess what? My friend, that's why he said, I'm a friend. I'll stick closer than a brother. I'm closer to you than anybody else. He doesn't judge me if I decide I go out here and I do something, silly or whatever. That's the sacrifice, the loyalty. God is loyal, right? He is loyal to us. He gives us the self-expression where when we're in the praise and worship, guess what I get to do? I get to cry to God whenever I want to. I could be sitting in my car and I get to cry out to my daddy, God, you know what? Listen, I'm in this emotional state. I get to weep with him. Okay. Then I get to plan for my future. I get to tell him, listen, I want to do this over here. This is this, I want to do this thing. And he's like, how about we go this way, but then we can get you to there. I have instructions. That's why he said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge me. I'll direct your path. I'll tell you where to go. Jonathan told David, hey, listen, go on out in the field. If I shoot it to the left, that means you can come back. If I shoot it far south, that means you need to go because my daddy gonna try to kill you. Planning for your future, David. I got you. Okay. The final meeting, they met each other. They have these things. David took care of everything. He made a vow to say, I'm still going to help you with your kids. I'm still going to help you with your family. In spite of whatever was going on, in spite of who your dad is, I'm still going to help you. And then we have death. When he dies, David went because Saul, Jonathan, and Jonathan, they all passed away. David went and reburied them and to honor them, regardless of whatever it was. So when we think about death, we die to ourselves daily. Daily, we die to ourselves. Okay. So doesn't matter what your gender, your race, um, how you identify, it's a soul connection, Derek. That is what he's getting. He wants you to understand that. I think we when we get into church as new Christians and as new believers, we get into this context because of how we read it and then how we're taught. So the reason why I pulled myself out of that is because of that thing. They just kind of went, it was like a literal thing. This is like a soul connection between me and God, between me and thee. That is my soul connection with God. It's like when you have a relationship with your partner. That has nothing to do with the outside world. Why? Because it's a soul connection between you and that person. So anything that goes on between you and your spouse or your mate or whatever, that's between you and that person. Your relationship, Derek, is your relationship with God Himself. Has nothing to do with me because my relationship is different than yours.
Yeah, deep in my spirit, I know that for sure. But still, like, so confusing, like co-living with so many things. And I think it has been harder and harder. I don't know why for me.
Don't make it
Like,
bigger than what it is. It's like it's our
right.
relationship. Think about our relationship. I met you, we connected, we still talk to each other. I still teach you, I still give you. That's the relationship that you have with God. It's not as complicated. And the reason it becomes complicated is because it's convoluted. The way whoever is teaching and the things that we hear is because the way it's what's being served to you. That's what Spirit is saying. Is the way it's being served. So whatever's on your plate, that's what's making it confusing because being with God is not confusing. Being your friend is not confusing.
I think he's battling. What's that saying is, um, we wrestle with flesh. I
It's like
said,
the scripture said, we
principal.
wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the
Yes,
principalities, the things of darkness. Okay.
yes.
So when we talk about that, don't how can I say it, Derek? Don't make it more than what it actually is. So our friendship is just it's just this, it's what it is. You can call me. How many times you call me?
Many,
And how
many
many
times.
times do I say, let's go ahead and do it. Let's
Yeah,
get on a
countless.
video. Anytime you call me, I'm gonna make sure you get an understanding. Bible says, in all thy getting, get an understanding. Treat God as your friend. That's my best friend. And I tell people I don't have a best friend. I don't have an earthly best friend, but I have a heavenly best friend. That's my friend. That's all I he's all I he that's all I got. That is my
That's
best
right.
friend. So when all hell is breaking loose, Derek, and if I need anything, he said, call me and I'll answer you.
Hmm.
That's what he said. Hey, God, listen, and talk to him the way you would talk to me. Hey, Tarina, I got a question. Hey, God, I got a question. And he said, I'm going to answer you. I'll answer. Now here's the thing. You got to get it to, though. He may not answer you in that moment, but I guarantee you, Derek, you're going to get the answer to the question. It's not hard to love God. It's not hard. And when you talk about God, it's not hard to love the word because that's all God is just a word. And he's a still small voice that we hear. And we just follow the instructions that he gives us to do. So if he says, go on live, what? Just do as I tell you to do. Saul, don't get in your flesh. Don't get in your ego. Do as I told you to do. And what did I say? Okay. Just do what he tells you to do. It's just like this ebb and flow. Now you think about if Jonathan told David, go on out there and just sit there. And we do have some of them friends that do what they want to do. So you think about David, if he'd have just been like, I ain't going out there. I'm gonna go back into the kingdom. Saul can't tell me nothing. He ain't gonna tell me what to do. Think about if he had did that. David, there wouldn't have been no David. David wouldn't even existed because Saul hated him so much. Bring him to me and he's got to die. Saul hunted David down. There was we had actually did a lesson about this where Saul was on one side of the mountain and David was on the other side of the mountain. And they were coming towards each other. Literally coming towards each other. David was so close to where Saul, he was like so close. And a messenger came to Saul and said, "Hey, something's going on back at the camp." Saul turned around. David was literally coming towards Saul. It's in here. That's how God was with David. He chose him. David may have been he was a messed up individual. He killed the man on the front line because he was sleeping with his wife, got her pregnant. We do certain things. It's a heart matter. Has nothing to do with your how you identify and no. David was a killer. He killed a man. Killed a man. In his heart, here's the thing, in his heart, David premeditated murder. That's what David did. He did. hmm Put him on the front line and make sure. That's what he did. David was so calculated, he said, bring him back and have him sleep with his wife. That's what David thought. David thought, well, I'll just have him sleep with his wife. So then it'll be like he got her pregnant and not me. And that didn't happen. It's in there. I promise you it's in there.
I did not
Bathsheba.
know
Not
that.
even who was it? Who was what was the lady's name? Was it Bathsheba? No, it wasn't Bathsheba. It was he was watching her. She was taking a bath and he watched her. He was watching her. And and he said, I want her. Got her, slept with her. She got pregnant. David was like, oh my God, this is my head soldier's wife. Go on and get him because they were at war. Go on and bring him back and have him go be with his wife. Had him sleep with the wife. What the man and the soldier told him, he said, "Oh no, I don't want to lose my strength by sleeping with her." So he told David, he said, I appreciate it. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. This is how I talk. I appreciate it, man. But I don't want to lose my strength, my agility. I don't want to get off my game, by sleeping with her. So I'm gonna go back to the front line, but thank you very much. I appreciate you even having the thought of, you know. So David said, "Oh, okay." So he sent message to put him on the front line, put him in the front, and make sure he dies, so that David wouldn't have to face the consequences that he slept with he himself is married, slept with his soldier's wife. He slept with a married woman. hmm hmm And then Nathan came and said, "Hey, David, I want to tell you a story." What story? He said, "Oh," tells him, and Nathan kind of breaks it down for him. He said, "Well, who is this man?" David said, "You." I mean, Nathan told him, You're that man." David ripped his clothes, went into this whole, I mean, just was like, "Oh, God." Went before the Lord, cried, did his whole thing. But guess what? Even then, he was still a man after God's own heart. Because it's one thing for you to commit a sin, and it's another thing for you to repent for the sin that you committed. And in your repentance, meaning, I'm not going to ever, and we don't read about David ever doing that again, do we? No, we don't. Okay. So when we talk about relationship, and I really thank God that he brought this to you because he wants to form that relationship with you, Derek. But don't go too far out. So if you think about when Samuel was anointing David, when he went to Jesse and was like, "Hey, you got some sons. Now God told me to come and anoint one of your kids." So he's trying to pour the oil, and none of them, none of Jesse's sons. And so Jesse was like, "Now, Samuel's like, because I know you sent me here. And you told me that there's one, but he ain't got one. God said, go back. There is one. He got one more. Go get him. And Samuel told him, hey, you got one more son. And Jesse's like, listen, he's a little tater tot. He ain't. David is that not David. David's the baby. Okay. You want David? I would have thought you wanted my oldest boys. He said, no, no, I want that one. He comes, he anoints him. The oil starts falling on David. God chose him. So when we think about ourselves, the only way we come into into the word, is because he calls us. So when you say many are called, but few are chosen, we were
Yes.
called to do this work. And when you're chosen, baby, this is not for the weak. This is not
It's
for
not.
anybody that will be a Saul and put their ego ahead of what God told him to do. If I told you to kill him, Derek, then kill him. Don't go in there and be like, well, I was afraid. I write the song, Derek. If I told you to do it, do it. There's nothing else. Don't put your ego above me. Saul, okay? If I told you to do a thing, do it. Kill the Amalekites, kill them all. Don't bring back nothing. Don't bring back no king, nothing. Do not do it.
God wasn't a joke, baby.
Listen, when
He
he
was
say,
not a punk.
and now we have to understand this is where we're at. When we get in Old Testament, and I've been teaching this to the ladies too. When we talk about the Old Testament was just a voice. So it was just a voice that they heard and they moved off of the voice. So when we talk about the 400 years of silence, he went silent because he said, well, I thought you would have known my voice, because he said, my sheep know my voice. Another they will not hear. So if I'm speaking to you and I'm telling you to move and y'all ain't moving, oh, now it's like it not necessarily he went silent. He was probably still speaking, but they just didn't hear him. That's a good message right there. They probably didn't hear him because he had spoke from Genesis 1 all the way up until you get to Malachi was speaking, and then he stopped talking because he was like, well, I think they got it. I think they picked up what I'm putting down, that I'm the voice. Okay. No, nobody got it. So then we get to the New Testament. And then he said, you know what? I got to put a man in the earth. Okay. Fleshly. Because obviously they didn't get it when they just heard the voice. So now
Yes.
I got to put the word. God, I thank you. I got to
Come
put the
on.
word in flesh, because the word you will hear, and another you will not depart. You won't depart from the word. You heard my voice. I told
Mm-hmm.
Noah, build an ark. I told David the cubits, the height, the depth of how to build a palace. I gave Solomon instructions on how to do. I told people what to do in the Old Testament. I came as a cloud by day,
Mm-hmm.
a pillar of fire by night. My voice was in the cloud, telling them, hey, there's some manna coming. They was like, well, what is it? You know how we do. Well, God, what is it? Just eat it. Okay. And then when you eat that, I want you to take just a little bit. Don't take a lot, because it's, obedience is better than sacrifice, Saul. Don't take a lot. Just take a little for the day. They took a whole bunch. It rotted.
It sure did.
Then when he told them, get enough because it's you gonna need it. They took a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and then they were hungry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, when he gives you instructions, that's the voice. Listen to the still small voice. The voice will tell you, today is not the day. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. So then we get to the New Testament. Now I got to put this thing in flesh. I got to put the word in flesh. So you'll understand what I've been trying to tell you in the Old Testament. I got to put the word in flesh,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to birth it in a woman, the most purest
Mm-hmm.
woman in the world, that ain't had
Mm-hmm.
that has never been touched by a man, that has never been defiled, that has such a heart that she trusted, like, what? Me? And here's the thing, God sent angels. In the Old Testament, angels would come, they would descend to earth.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with Abraham and Sarah. Hey, she gonna have a baby. Sarah laughed. They was like, and so what is she laughing for? They didn't even have to look at her. They felt it. What's she laughing for? Because it's finna happen. When they burned down Sodom and Gomorrah, they sent angels to earth.
Hmm.
Huh, hey, get on out of here because we finna burn this down.
Yeah, it's that's when he burnt it down because
They was
it was
the
disobedient in the
yes.
town. They was having
Uh-huh.
sex and doing all kind of stuff.
They was being
I think they
nasty.
even, yeah, they was trying to do it with the angels, wasn't they?
Yes.
Hmm.
Told Lot, go ahead and bring us the angels so we can sleep with the angels. Lot had to close him in the house because they that's how nasty they were, how defiled they were. Then we get down to the New Testament. He said, now listen, now I got to put the word in you. Now I got to bring the world into the world in a fleshly form so that you can see what he said, the power that I have, that you shall also have. And greater work, God, I thank you. Greater works shall you do. Jesus told him, hey, listen, I'm just coming here to show you. My father sent me to show you what the power that you have and the power that you can do in my name. That's all you can do. You can't do it in any other name, but in my name. That is how you'll be able to do this power. They didn't believe him. Little 12, the 12 disciples. They stumble upon a man whose son was vexed with the spirit. They get upset. Well, how come we couldn't do it? He said, listen, you wicked people. And he called them wicked. He said, because listen, I've been with y'all for a long time. Have you ever just been teaching somebody? Because Derek is a teacher of English to the people in Portugal. And you just, how many times do I got to tell you this word? How many times, how long are we going to keep doing this lesson?
Mm.
That's what Jesus told him. How long are we going to keep going over this thing? I've been here with y'all for a long, long time. How long am I going to be here that I'm showing you what to do? I'm telling you what to do. You see me go pray, you go pray. You see me
Hmm.
fasting, you fast. You see me doing miracles, you do the exact same thing. That is what I'm teaching you. The word went silent for 400 years. Nobody actually heard the word. I'm pretty sure there was probably somebody that heard it but didn't move on it. That intuitive part of us was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Did he tell me to do it? But he's like, okay, so now we got to put the word in flesh. John 1 and 1 says, in the beginning was the word. The word was God. The word was with
Yep.
God. The word was God.
Hmm.
And the word became flesh. And he dwelt among us. God, Derek, is just the word. Do you remember when I did that reading for you long, long time ago? Because it just brought it back to my memory. And I told you that when you sing, um, you have the melody, the words come off of you. That is what the word is. What we speak, we just put it out in the atmosphere and it becomes this melody of words that starts to create this wonderful song that starts to change a person's heart, change the way people see things, change the way people do things. Think about Saul and David. Saul didn't have to, I mean, David didn't have to sing. He just played music, changed Saul's whole dynamic, his whole demeanor. So when we think about the word, that's what the word is. That's why he said, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Those that eat it, eat the fruits of thereof. Speak those things that be not as though they were. So if you're like, well, I don't know, me and God, it's complicated. It'll always be complicated. But me and God have a wonderful relationship, Derek. That's my friend. I can call my daddy right now and be like, Daddy, listen, I got some situations here. The one thing he's working on me with is worry. He said, Trina, you worry about things that you shouldn't even worry about. Didn't I tell you? Then he had to give me a story to remind me years ago. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell you something. The place that I'm living right now, I can literally walk to the apartment that I was living in when I got the word over the phone that said, no, God said he'll supply your needs according to his riches and glory. I promise you I can. I can walk right over there, go out of my house and walk across the street. to remind me, baby girl, I gave you this message back in 2003, I want to say, when I told you, I'll supply your needs according to my riches and glory by Christ Jesus. Meaning this, Tarina, I'll supply your needs according to my riches and glory by the word. Because when we talk about Jesus, Derek, he's just the word in flesh. I'll supply your needs through the word. What do you need? What do you want? Do you know how long I've been hearing God ask me that? What do you want? I don't know. I can't even tell him what I want, but I'm sitting here teaching these women. All you got to do is just go up to like a drive-through and tell them what you want. Okay, so that's what you got to understand. Jesus, it's not hard. We make it hard based off of what we've been taught and who is teaching us. So that's why he said, in all thy getting, get an understanding. Study to show thyself approved. We don't study the word for anybody else's approval. We study the word for his approval.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. John is after Luke. Sorry, hold on. I was trying to read this word to you because that's my favorite scripture. That's one of my favorite. One of my favorite scriptures is when you read John 1 and 1. That I'm going to read it to you. Okay? So this is out of the New English version, the New International Version. I'm sorry. The word became flesh. Listen, it says it in itself. It says it at the beginning of John 1 and 1. Okay? I told you to get one of them study Bibles. Okay? Study Bible. It tells you what it is. Okay? In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Verse 2 says, he was with God in the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form. It was void. It was
Mm-hmm.
empty. There was nothing
Mm-hmm.
there. Verse 3 says, and then he spoke into the void and said, let there
Come
be
on.
light.
Be like.
And light came.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the word, let there be love. Let
Come on,
there
Jesus.
be relationship.
Come on,
Let there
Jesus.
be wealth. Let there be,
Come on.
speak to the void. That's what he did. So he said there was emptiness. He created nothing out of something because it's going to say it. Hold on. He said, through him, all things were made. Okay. Without him, nothing was made that had been, that has been made. Through him, nothing that was made. You can't make nothing throughout the word without the word. Okay. It says it through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. Without him, you can't make nothing without the word. Just telling you. Okay. And then it says, in him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. Okay. Jesus Christ was always existed. He's always existed and will exist eternally. He is the living word. We got a song. I think I told you this song by Fred Hammond. You are the living word, bread of heaven, sent down from glory, awesome ruler, gentle redeemer. That's who he is. Because when you get back to Moses, and Moses said, listen, so I heard you. Moses is at a bush and he gives Moses instructions. Moses goes there and he said, wait a minute, whoa, whoa. So I'm gonna go, but who shall I say sent me? He said, I am that I am. Whatever you need me to be, Moses, in that moment, you just tell him, so he sent me. I am. I am that I am. Whatever you need, I am. That's what he said. Okay. He says, Jesus and God, the Father, along with the Holy Spirit, God, Father, Holy Ghost, have always had an intimate relationship as a triune God. Mm. Jesus is God who took on a human body and nature in order to redeem mankind. Okay? He came here to let you know that everything that I'm finna go through is to save your soul from the pits of hell. And when I die, I'm going to go down to the pits of hell and I'm going to grab the keys to the kingdom. And that's it. The enemy has no power. Just like he didn't have power over Job. He told Job, listen, you can go down there. He told the enemy, you can go down there and you can bother him, but you can't kill him.
Preach.
You can touch, you can bother Derek, you can do whatever you want to do, but you can't kill him. You can take everything that you have from Derek, but you can't kill him. And the reason you can do it is because I know Derek loves me enough that he ain't gonna curse me. So each one of us goes through a lesson in time because he said there's a time for everything. Okay. There's a time to laugh, Derek. There's a time to cry. There's a time to weep. There's a time to mourn. There's a time to love. There's a time to hate. Do you see what we're going through right now in just the United States of Americas? It's a time for everything. And we have to go through the seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall. We got to go through all of the seasons. But we ain't going to die. And even if we do die, the Bible says to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. My soul cries out, God, that's all. We're just earthly beings, just like Jesus. We are the word in flesh because he said, if I am in you and you are in me, we are one. He's your friend. Now, when people kind of take that context and be like, well, I'm a God. Well, you are God in flesh. You are the word, and you're not going to be a God. God was just the word that people heard. So when he made us in flesh, we are just the word in flesh, living and moving, and we have our being, the spiritual connection with God, the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit. That is all it is. It's not hard. And I've been in church since I was 5. Ordained minister. Crazy, huh? But it gets hard because of the way we're taught. So when you really sit, and I told God, I don't want anything that I learn now, I don't want it to come from a book. I want you to really give it to me. I want you to download into me what needs to be filtered to your people. Because what's happening is, and the word even tells us that there's going to be false prophets. They're going to come out here. They're going to be telling you what Jesus said it's going to be those things. But you got to know that you know that you know. When Trump got in office, and I don't want to talk about this, and I know somebody's going to read about it, but when he got in office, I was in the shower and I was crying. I mean, just, oh, Jesus. I felt a certain kind of way. I was afraid. I thought, God, why? What are you doing? What is the lesson that we need to learn? Because he was already in office 4 years ago. And why did people hate this woman so much? They even hated Hillary Clinton. What is it? I asked God, what is it? Why are we going through this? His answer to me was because first he said to me, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge me, and I'll direct your path. I instantly stopped crying. I said, okay, so if that's what I need to do, I have to trust God. Throughout this 4 years, I got to trust him. Okay. But then I asked him again in the car. I said, God, like they just coming out and they are just like, I mean, it's just racism at its finest. Like, why are you allowing them to get away with it? What he told me was, we are in the revelation. We are in time of revealing. Okay. I'm revealing things. People think it's like we're in the end times. Yeah. He's revealing a lot of things to us, things that we need to see in order for us to move forward and be able to get down to that part. Okay. We ain't heard no trumpet yet. We ain't heard nothing. If you heard a trumpet, let me know. Okay. But it is the revealing. He said, I have to reveal these people because what's happening is it's friends. It's not just the people that, the MAGA people. It's everybody. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your uncles, it's your sisters, your brother, it's people. He said, I got to reveal these people to you because what they're doing is they are wolves in sheep clothing. And they're walking around talking about I'm a Christian and I just love God so much. He said, but when that time comes, because it's in the Bible, and he says, they're going to cry out, Lord, Lord. And he said, I'm going to tell them, I didn't know you. I have no idea who you are. Me? You calling me? I don't know you. And I don't know you because I don't move like that. God doesn't move in hate. He doesn't move in fear mongering. He doesn't move in, retaliation. He doesn't move in that way. He moves in love because that's what he told us. In all the things that we do, think on these things. I think it's in Ephesians. Think on these. But love, that's the most important thing that you need to think on. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Talk about Jonathan. So you see how I tell people the Bible always circled it all, it's interconnected. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Jonathan loved himself so much that that's how much he loved David. I love me so much that I love y'all. And I'm gonna protect you the same way I would protect myself is the way I'm gonna protect you. Jonathan got to a point where he's like, this man trying to kill me because he want to kill David. He wants to kill me because I'm friends with David. He wants to kill me because I'm trying to get him to reason like, Dad, what is it? You think about these people that have the MAGAs. Because what is it? What is it about us that you hate us so much? What is it? What I just want to know. Saul couldn't even give an explanation to Jonathan. These people can't even give us an explanation as to why. They can't. So your relationship, whether you be black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever, gay, transgender, what is it? Binary, non-binary, whatever you identify as. You think God love you any less? No, because it's a soul to soul connection. My soul connects with God's soul. And if he tell me I need to apologize to a person, he'd be like, oh, you know how you just don't want to. You'd be like, oh. But because my soul is connected with his,
Mm.
let me let me do the right thing. Moving my ego out of the way, dying to a part of myself daily that says, okay, God, do you know how bad I want to say something to somebody? You come out your face to me, it's on and popping. I mean, bleh. But I have to think about would Jesus do this? And listen, Jesus cussed out the Philistine so smooth. That's what I want to be. I want to be so smooth with my words that Jesus will cut you and you can be mad at me. That's what he wants us to be. So our relationship, just like Miss Tangi, her relationship with God is different than mine. I can teach you, but you got to build this relationship with God the Father yourself. Okay? But we are here to help you.
Hmm.
We're not gonna we ain't gonna shuck you, we ain't gonna jive you, we ain't gonna feed you nothing that don't need to be fed. We ain't gonna feed you anything that you don't need to be fed. That's just not who we are. And I'm
I
gonna give
remember
you,
it.
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I remember it when we first met. I think it was in the very first or second call that we had back in 2022. And you said, well, I think I mentioned about my sexuality, or you did, or it just came up. And you said that about like a man lying with a man and a woman lying with a woman had nothing to do about like what had nothing, how do you say it? Had nothing to do with me. That's how you say it in English, right?
Yes.
Um, and I am now like finding I was okay with that, like totally okay with it, but now it's like coming back all again.
Your relationship. Okay, so here's what I think we have to get to kind of like the what society has taught us and what church has taught us, what religion has taught us, what the law has taught us is that it's a sin. But who said it was a sin. Okay. And even if they were talking about it, you got to, who were they talking to? So when we're looking at Bible, who are they actually talking to? Because if God hasn't condemned you for being in your sexuality, who am I? Who am I to be like, oh my God, he's gay. Ugh. I am no one. I can't judge you. The Bible says, judge not lest you be judged. Because
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. There are people out here right now sinning. I mean, sinning like dogs. Probably some of them in Congress right now. You see how Diddy? The revealing. Now I need you to see who this man really is. Because we loved him so, oh, we just loved Diddy. Oh, Diddy was the greatest. But now I need you to see him for who he really is. He was foul. So it's one thing for you to be gay, but it's another thing for you to be gay and foul. Sodom and Gomorrah. He gonna take you down. Okay. It's simple. It's a process that you got to really kind of look at the whole context. Don't just limit it to, well, they said no. Look at Diddy. Look at
He
all the people
misused, bro.
he
Daddy
misused.
misused those young boys.
Yes,
He
it's
misused their
ex
trust. And they didn't come to him to be gay. They came to him for a record deal. And he misused those children. And he misused and misguided other people on a path. And I think what I'm hearing from you, David, if I can speak on it a little
Derek.
bit,
His name is
Derek, I'm
Derek.
sorry.
Eric.
Derek, I'm sorry. We've been talking about David. I'm sorry. I think what I'm kind of hearing from you, your thing is, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes within you, your relationship, you seek and wants to love the Lord, and you wants the Word, and you wants to not let Him down. You want Him to see you, but you battle with your flesh every day of being gay, and that's where you have the connection, the problem with, because you want him to be accepting, and you want to continue to love him and grow in him, but that one little thing you struggle with within your flesh. That's why I was had Tarina to say the flesh will battle, but that ain't how you should be fighting. Like she's saying, it's your spirit that matters. Your spirit is the beautiful thing that God sees. He knows your spirit. He's not judging your sexuality. He's judging, do you love me? Do you have faith in me? Do you trust me like I made you to be? And when you get that connection and that understanding in your mind, up here, it will connect with your feelings and your heart because your heart won't lie. You are who you are. And that is who you is. And that's okay. It's okay to be a sweet spirit. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be who you what he made you to be. It's between you and him. That's the beautiful relationship that we have with God. Even to murders, like she said, the worst of the worst, Jesus had saved at the end before he went and on that cross. That man was a murder next to him. But he believed just the faith that he had, and he looked over. And Jesus said, yes, he accepted him. You are accepted by God by spirit, not by your sexuality, honey. So stop battling with that. And you have to grow into battling with that. You have to let the Lord talk to you. Like she say, hear his voice. Because he'll tell you, I love you regardless of who you are. But you got to let him speak to your heart. And he will. I guarantee he will. And when he do that, you will find peace within yourself. So that's what I think. I could be wrong now.
Thank you so much. That's exactly what I needed to hear.
Okay, so when we talk about that scripture, um, it was basically let me read it. I got to read it. So this is what they're saying, okay? Reading the context out of Leviticus, okay? God was telling Moses, don't have them go back to Egypt. Don't go back to your sinful ways, okay? So in this context, what he's telling them is women back in the day, back in that time, um, if you've ever heard like women in like the Muslim culture, um, they don't have sex when they're on their cycles. So when they're on on their menstruals, they're not, and it could probably go for days, but they are not allowed to be touched by a man. This is what God was telling them. So what would happen is the men, you know, didn't they they needed it basically. But God said, listen, when their wives are on their cycle, don't you go over here and lay with a man the way you would lay with a woman. Don't do it. Because you can't do it with her, don't go do it with him. Okay, that's what he was saying. So it has nothing to do with you like being with a man because the, what he was telling the children of Israel, don't go and sleep with a man because you cannot go and sleep with her. That's what I mean, I hope I'm making that kind of clear, is what he's saying. Has nothing to do with, with anything else. He was just making the covenant with them. Then don't sleep with the children's. Okay. Think about the priests, the Catholic priests, all of them doing these little incestuous things. The priests were doing a little homosexuality. Okay, so it was there. But he was telling them, don't go out here trying to sleep with a man because you can't sleep with your wife. And then they would rape them. You know what I'm saying? So we take it out of context and we use it in a way that would try to hurt another person. That's not what that is. Okay. So when we talk about that, that is the where am I trying to get to? The loyalty God has with you. He wouldn't have never called you, Derek, if he didn't want you to know about him. And no one's trying to convert you and tell you you need to be straight. Like, what does that have to do with your relationship with God himself? You ain't sleeping with God. Okay? You are just building a connection with God the Father. Okay? Don't overthink it. Don't want you to do that.
There's one last thing, like I don't think I mentioned this dream to you. It was last September.
Hmm.
So I've been like open to having a real relationship, right? Like the right one. And I've been desiring it so much that I had a dream about it. And in this dream, there was a teacher, someone who used to be my teacher, and she revealed to me in the dream, she was like, oh, let's see if this man that Derek is waiting for is going to appear or not. And I know that in the dream, it was like God, you know, through
Hmm.
her, through her words. And in the dream, it was like she's saying to me that I shouldn't be paying attention to that so much. I should fix my eyes on Jesus because he was coming back. That's literally what she said. But I had a feeling in the dream that God never told me that there wasn't a man coming. It
Ooh,
was just a request that I had to fix my eyes on him and focus on him only, and the rest was like work it
it
out.
takes care of itself.
Yeah.
There's a scripture that says that it's like focus on him and everything else takes care of itself. So if you focus on him, studying your word, getting in your word, building a relationship for you, because what we have to go through is we have to go through the process of cleansing. When you think about Esther, and I don't want to say think, when you talk about Esther, when Esther was chosen by the king to be a wife, she went through 6 months of this of cleansing with herbs and things like that, and then she went through 6 months of of what was it? Of learning the king. Okay? So what are you saying, Tarina? If that is something that you want, and now you are building this relationship with God, you give God 6 months of being cleansed. I thank you for that word. 6 months of
Mm-hmm.
being cleansed. 6 months of going through the baths because she would have like the nice little, we call them um,
Spiritual bath.
spiritual baths. You go through your cleansing, okay? You ask God, what do I need to do to cleanse myself? God, give me 6 months. You give him your 6 months. And then you go through 6 months of learning because in that time frame, what happens is you're not focusing on that, you're focusing on him. Okay. So when you're focusing on God, there's a scripture that says, "He that finds a wife finds a good thing." So this is kind of like for women. But what it's saying is that if you're so focused on God, a man has to find you. He has to literally come and be like, "Is she? Is she? Oh, there she is." And you just be like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" Because it's the thing that you asked for. It's like speaking when he said, "Speak to the void." But keep being thankful. God, I thank you for this relationship. I thank you that I'm going to meet the man of my dreams, that he's going to love me. He's going to honor me. He's going to care for me. He's going to respect me. But God, I also thank you that you and I are building this connection. And I thank you that you are keeping me in your wing. I'm thanking you that you are building this foundation. I thank you that you are giving me stability and comfort and joy and peace. But God, don't let me miss him. But God, help me to heal myself that when I go into this relationship, God, that there's no baggage, that I don't have anything that would hinder this relationship. Allow me, God, to see me. Allow me, God, to heal me. Allow me, God, to be healed and cleansed and whole for your name's sake, so that when I get into this relationship, it will be perfect because you said that what you have put together, God, that no man can put us under, meaning, God, that I can't even mess this up. So, God, I thank you for this divine relationship that it comes. But God, I also thank you that you're putting things decently and in order. Okay. So focus on the plan. That's what it is. The plan of your future. So really what God has given you, Derek, is the relationship of Johnathan and David. He said, that's what I want with you. I want to have that relationship. I want to have that connection with you, Derek, that you and I are a Johnathan and David, that you can trust me, that you are loyal to me and only me, that you give me this covenant, okay? That you sacrifice the relationship right now. Right now, I don't need it. God, I thank you. Thank you that we're not in, and here's the thing. We don't have relationships right now, but God, I thank you that I'm not in no filthy, farthy, relationship where this dude is dogging me out because we see it all over TikTok. We see it all over social media. God, I thank you that they're not even hiding me. But God, I thank you that you are hiding me in the secret place of the Most High, that I abide under the shadow of the Almighty. But God, I thank you that He will find me and that when He
Mm.
finds me, God, He will find a good thing.
Come on.
God, I thank you that you give me favor that rests upon me. God, I thank you that I'll be able to know my husband and speak life to him like Esther
Yes,
spoke
Lord.
to the king. She spoke
Yes,
life to him,
Lord.
and he was like, well, who is this God that you're talking about? Because he didn't even believe in the God that she was serving,
Mm-hmm.
had no idea who she was. And then you have the favor to where you can say, so now we need to free my people. The man that
Mm-hmm.
was trying to kill them is me. He was trying to kill me. And if you love me, where they made laws for the people of Persia. So in the context of what I'm telling you, you got to look at who he was talking to. The children of Israel were they hard-headed. Okay, they were some hard-headed individuals. When
Very
they got free,
disobedient.
very, very disobedient. They got free and was complaining,
Mm-hmm.
murmuring and complaining. They was the ones that he told them, go get the manna, go take enough. They go and take a little. Then they take a lot, and then it
Mm-hmm.
rots on them. Y'all,
Did it?
and then the men was probably out there being so silly. He was like, "Listen, don't you go back to the days of Egypt. That was slave days. You are free. The Bible says, "Whom the Son sets free is free indeed." Why y'all going back to that? Don't you go back to that. because that's probably what they did then. He said, you cannot do the same thing now. I have freed you from that. What is the mentality that you're thinking about that you would think that that's okay? No, be free. Okay, go free. He's freed you. Go on and be free. But again, it's the who was he talking to? He wasn't talking to us. He was talking to the little children of Israel. Okay, them hard-headed children of Israel that got so God, we just need to go. Moses and God is out here now. We finna die. Let's build a golden calf.
Mm-hmm.
They was going into the time of the man that meet at the water, the well, Aquarius. They were going into the days of Aquarius. They still in the bull in the time of Taurus. Fighting. What you fighting for? That's not even where we at. Moses is coming down from the mountain with the the commandments. Oh, because if I was Moses, I'd be like, oh my God, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? Oh, what'd you make? Oh shoot, I was looking up a recipe for them lamb chops, but all right. Anyway, so Derek, for you, that is what God wants. God, I thank you that you are building a relationship between me and you as a Johnathan and David. I'm honored. I would be honored that he want a relationship like that, a Johnathan and David, that he says, "Hey, Derek, listen, if I shoot the arrow that way, that means you go, you write the song. If I shoot it this way, then that means you write the book. Whatever you got to do, but you do what I tell you to do. Don't let your ego get in the way because I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna be Johnathan. I'm gonna be your Johnathan to your David." That's what he's saying. I want to be your friend. I'm not here to hurt you. Oh God, I thank you for this.
Thank you for it too, Jesus.
I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to build a covenant for you. I want to put on the robe. I want you to put on the robe. I want you to take my weapons. Because that's what Johnathan gave him. Johnathan gave him his robe and he gave him his weapons to fight. Here, take that. Okay? That's what the scripture says. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty in the pulling down of strongholds. Everything that I want to do, I want to build a covenant. I want you to be able to sacrifice. As I sacrifice for you, I want you to sacrifice for me. That means some days I want you to fast. I want you to go and I want you just to give me you.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your time. You ain't, I mean, if he tells you to not eat anything for 24 hours, don't eat nothing for 24 hours. If he tell you to sing all day long, sing all day long. Give him you. That's what he wants. Sacrifice your time. The time that we spend scrolling on TikTok, because I promise you, it'd be hours. Sacrifice taking the app off your phone for 30 days and watch what I do for you. Watch the relationship that we build. It'll be a loyalty. I want you to know that I'm loyal to you, Derek. I got you. You may not think it, but I got you. Okay. My little homeboy, the devil, he out here. He just, but I got you. I'm not here to hurt you. And I want you to cry out to me. Have that emotional expression to me. When things is going tough, when your back is against the wall and your wall's against the back, hey, listen, Father, cry to him. Give me everything, everything. It's just like a friend. You got that one friend that you can call and you be like, girl, I just, like my grandson, oh, I be crying to him. And here's the thing, there's no judgment. They ain't gonna try to tell you what to do. They're just gonna listen to you. That's the relationship I have with God. Am I lonely? Yes. And I cried, just God, I'm 54, 53. I'll be 54 this year. I've not been married. Oh. Is it ever going to happen? That's where we get to. Then he's like, I want to plan your future. What does that look like? Write the vision, make it plain. Then when you see it, you'll be able to run with it. What do you want to do? Oh, I can tell you that. Yeah. He told me, go to Genesis 1 and see what the word did.
And that word
Spoken
do it.
and spoken to the void. He said, I just spoke into the void. If I'm in you And he had to tell me, if I'm with you and you're with me, that means we're one. That means the power that I have, because then I sent Jesus in the flesh in John 1 and 1 to tell you that what he did, you also have the power to do, but greater works shall you do. So if I spoke to the void, you can speak to the void and you can make things happen and light can happen in your life. But you have to trust. When you ask on anything, if you believe it, you receive it. You didn't think that I didn't believe that light was going to come when I said, let there be light. And let us stop water from here to there. It's not magic, but that's just what he did. He spoke to a thing and said, stop right there. I need the earth and the firmament to not go too far. I need water to come up from the earth, not down. Okay. When it rained, it was a mist that came up. Wasn't anything that came down. It was just, but again, as above, so below. Whatever's up there, God, I want that. Whatever you got for me up there, I want that down here. Fill the void. What is the void in your life? That's what he's telling you. Plan your future. What does that look like? Okay, God, well, right now my bank account is empty. My love life empty. Um, my
Come on,
heart
speak it.
empty. My mind
Come
empty.
on.
My soul empty. I need all that filled. Okay. Fill me, God,
Mhm.
until you can't fill me no more. There's a song that says that.
Yes, Lord.
Fill me, God, till you can't till I can't take no more. Fill me up. Fill me with your word. Fill me with your love. Fill me with your compassion. Fill me with your grace. Fill me with your joy, joy unspeakable. Fill me with all of that. He said, let this mind, God, you said, and you got to give him the word back. You said, let this mind be in me, which is also in Christ Jesus. And that means that God, let my mind be in me, which is also the word of God. Let my mind be in the word. Mindset. So when we get into spirituality, people are like, well, no, the word said no. That's what he said. Let my subconscious mind be in you, which is also in the word. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's not the context of the scripture, but he's telling you everything that we do is a mind thing. Meditate on these things day and night. Meditate on the word. Meditate on what you see. Meditate on what you want, the desires. He said, I'll give you the desires of your heart. Because what you have to understand is the desire that you have is a desire that he has to plan your future. So the thing that keeps bubbling up, like, oh, a relationship, that's what he wants you to have. I really want you to have that. But we got to iron out some kinks. Okay. There's some things we got to iron out. Because I'm not going to give you just anybody. I'm going to give you somebody. And that somebody is a man that I created just for you. And you think you finna mess that up? Absolutely not. Get it together. That's how
Um,
me and God have the relationship. Get it together.
yeah. I had a weird dream like recently, and it was weird because it seemed like it was about a person, supposedly the man, and he was going through like some situations in his castle.
Uh-oh,
Um,
not a castle.
so
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
well, so he was going through like situations, problems, and in the dream it was like after I did a reading about it, I understood that it was for me to pray about this
Uh-huh.
person
Mm-hmm.
because they were going through like some type of situation. I was like, how strange, because I've never heard something like this before.
So he prepares you for the thing. So there's a scripture that says he prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemy. That's not really what that means, but I mean what I'm trying to get to. But he prepares you for the thing that you are asking for. And I got to trust that if I send you this man and he's going through something, that you know to pray for him. That if I give you a dream, that you're going to pray, you're going to do what I told you to do, Saul, and you ain't going to go out here and be disobedient and mess it up. I have to prepare you. I have to trust that if I tell you to do this thing, that you're going to do what I tell you to do. He's not even in the present, but I need you to trust me. And can I trust you? The loyalty. Can I trust you, Derek? Hey, I want to give you a dream. So I want to give you there's a guy, okay? He's going through some things. I want you to pray for him. Because we have the power to pray a person out of a situation.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Your words are, you know how they say bi-coastal? Our words are bi-coastal. I mean, it can go wherever. Remember, he met the centurion on the road. The centurion said, "Hey, my soldier, he's sick. He dying." Jesus was on his way to the little girl's house that was dead. The centurion said, so Jesus said, "Well, do you want me to come to you?" He said, "No, no, no." He said, "Because I understand leadership and commandments." He said, "All I have to do is speak to my army, and they do what I tell them to do." He said, "Because I have faith, all you have to do is speak a word, and I know he will make whole." I'm pretty sure that tickled Jesus fans. He's like, see, he get it. All you got to do is just speak a word, and I know he's finna be healed. And Jesus told him, because of your faith and because you believe that, go on and go on. You're gonna be all right when you get home. See, it's a
Uh,
matter of what we speak, and do we believe the thing that we are speaking? You Hey, Derek, you asked me for a mate. Do you believe he's coming? Now I need you to prepare for the thing that I told you that you asked me for. Okay. It's like when we order any kind of product or anything, you make room, you make ready for it. It's like you buy furniture for your new place. You got to make room for it. I got to get rid of the old thing so I can get the new thing. Okay.
Derek, would this be your first relationship when it comes?
No, it's a serious one, the second one.
Okay.
But I've had like flings, which I want
Mhm.
no more.
See how he's clearing you up. He's telling you, why would I come and give you something and you out here dilly and dallying with somebody that don't even care about your tomorrow, that don't want to and won't. That's the message for me as itself. You
I
asking me
think
for a husband and you out here playing house with somebody that don't want to and won't. Make up your mind. Okay. That's all he's saying. You got to clear the space. We got to make room for the thing that we're asking for. You ask for a new car, clear the space. Mm-hmm. You want a new home, clear the space.
yes, Jesus. Yeah. Yes, I want that.
Make room for it.
Hmm.
Let me tell
I'm
you
ready
what
to
I
go
did
get me
when I
some
got that
boxes.
Mercedes. They were all with me. These two ladies, there was probably like five or six. They were with me when I lost my car. My daughter wrecked my car, and I wanted a Mercedes. You know what I did? I went and bought a keychain. I still got it to this day. This little keychain right here. I went and bought it. The fob wasn't even in it. But I would go outside when I'm catching an Uber, because I was catching an Uber. I would go outside and I would click as if I was getting in my car, that I was unlocking the door to my car. And I want to say it took 4 months.
I'm gonna start bringing me some boxes home
I
because I'm
promise you,
moving.
do it. Uh, okay. It took 4 months. And I put the picture up on the wall, right? The vision. Had the vision, put it up on my wall. And I would every morning I'd look up because I had there's a bookshelf, and I had the bookshelf above my bed. And every time I would look up and I'd see that car. And I would visualize myself driving that car. When I would catch my Uber to work, I'd go outside and I push the key fob as if I was getting in that car. Before I left that old place, I was out there pushing the key fob to get in my car. Okay. You
I
want
will
to
start packing.
You want a house? You better go get you a little key and put on there, like get a little sticky tab and says new house with the address on the house that you want to have. I don't know. But we got to start speaking those things that be not as though they were. I don't know what we are afraid of. God was never afraid. Can you imagine him saying, well, I don't know. Should we put the earth there and should we divide the water? I don't know.
That would be me. That'd be me.
Should
Gotta
we
be
divide
like,
the water? I don't know. Should we
mhm.
Should we have light and darkness and meeting in the middle? Should we? I don't know. I mean, and then should we create man in our image or should we just, what would that look like? What happens is we start delaying the process. God never delayed a
Mhm.
thing. He said, let there be light. He just looked and was like, okay, so it's dark. Let there be light. Light was like, "Poof, okay. Now he's like, all right, so we need to divide heaven and earth, put the firmament here, divide the sea from the sky. Oh, okay. All right, now we need to have water come up from the earth. We need to have clouds. And now we need to create man in our image. Now, what
That's
do
a
we
lot
look?
to build. That's
Can
a
you
lot to
imagine
build. And he did it in what, 7 days?
7 days, baby? Because listen, God, I thank you for this word. If he can do it in 7 days, I'm pretty sure you can do it in seven. He created Earth I mean, in a millisecond. Light was like tweak.
Hmm.
He did everything decently and in order, and he never wavered in the thing that he spoke.
And that's what I gotta not do. I can't waver in what I know. I know when things ain't happening all of a sudden, I'm like, Jesus, what is going on? I need you. And I'm praying even harder and I'm crying harder and I want more. And I'm like, you see my work, you see my heart effort. And it's not that he doesn't see it. It's just that I have to stop wavering in it.
Should I speak that? Should I ask for 1 million or should I ask for just 500?
I said what is
Should
it,
I
a
ask
multi-millionaire?
should I ask for health or should I just ask for, he's like, what, because what do you, and that's what he gets to. What do you want? What do you want? Tell me what you want. I'm telling you, if you ask on anything when you pray, if you believe it, you receive it. Because what do you want? And then you out here being a double-minded man. That's what he said. A double-minded man, unstable in all its ways. If you gotta fix this, me, when you go to a restaurant, here we go. This is what I taught them years ago. You go into a restaurant, you don't waver in the thing that you want, do you? When you go order some pizza, you know, I want a cheese pizza with extra sauce, extra cheese, whatever. You know exactly what you want. He said, how come you can go and place an order at a fast food restaurant, but you can't come place an order with me and give me what you want? Okay, God, okay. So listen, I want to have, looking at the menu, it's not hard. It's none of this is rocket science. What do you want? The menu of life. I thank God for that word. The menu of what do you want? God, I want to earn $1 million. I want to earn a six-figure income.
Hmm.
I want a six-figure income. I want to have a $500,000, about, $5,000 house. I want to have 4,000 square feet. I wanted to have be a four-car garage. I want to have heated floors in the bathroom. I want to have heated floors in the garage, and I want to live in uh Bali or wherever. You know what I'm saying? It's simple. Just go up to the menu of life and be like, okay, so uh I want to have a good man that is, he provides stability, shelter, and he loves me and he honors me and he appreciates me and he's, with a side of, a healthy sexual relationship. You know what I'm saying? A hex
Hello,
a he-
hello, hello.
a healthy sex drive,
Yes.
that makes me want to, you know, that has a heart of gold. The man that just, he just wants to. And God, I want to have a wonderful job. I want to have a wonderful career that provides me all of the things that I have and I need, that I want to be able to do. I want to travel. So can you imagine him just doing that? And then Noah, you think about Noah. No, I need you to go and build this ark. Noah's like, well, gosh, should I build it the way he said or a little smaller? What if we don't do the wood he told us to do? You know, what if we didn't get two by two of the animals? What if we just bring one zebra and one giraffe? Ah, you know, then we're moving like Saul. I chose you, Saul. I trusted you. I trusted you, Tarina, to do what I told you to do. And now you out here acting a fool, just being willy-nilly, not doing anything, not doing half the stuff I told you to do. Because you want to be Jonah. Well, listen, because if I tell these people this stuff, they ain't gonna listen to me. That's not for you to decide. Do what I told you to do. And let me take care of the rest of everything else. Okay? Your obedience to God is better than you sacrificing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because Saul was like, oh, you got dethroned. Dethroned. Yeesh. Okay? We are the light of the world. And people need to see the true essence of who God is in flesh through us.
Mm-hmm.
That is why we need to study the word. We need to give the word. We need to walk in the word. We need to operate the word. I did a message called Work the Word. We got to work the word into our life. That's what God did. He just worked the word into his life. Jesus worked the word into people's lives and situations. You go to the New Testament, that's all he did. He just worked the word. He just was working the word. We have to be living true testaments of who he is, especially in this time. We out here listening to these people, I mean, it's just, today was just like the day I was like, what in the world is going on? But we just need to see things so we know we have to trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to our own understanding because we don't even understand what's cracking off in America. We have no idea, Derek. All we know is we just like, what is happening? What is this man
Mm-hmm.
doing? Half the stuff he's doing is illegal.
I see one bad
Illegal.
news after another.
Huh?
I see one bad news after another. It's always the worst one.
We all day, all we have been doing is what? And then all of the stuff that he is doing, illegal. This man is a criminal. But didn't nobody like Miss what's her name?
Kamala.
Nobody liked her. And I was like, I don't understand why. They really believe that Donald Trump was meant to be the president of the United States. I really have to ask God, why?
I think, like you just said, I think that I didn't put too much thought in who was going to be the president. I knew that whoever was going to be is not who they are, who they say they are. So obvious it wasn't her. So I knew that Trump ain't who he say he is, but he's not the one who's going to come and turn this world really upside down. We ain't seen nothing. If we keep living, we're going to see that. Trump is like a baby compared to what's going to come our way in the future. Like everybody was like, buy food, storage food. God says you need to get this food and you need to put all this stuff into your home and your house because all of this stuff is going to happen. I truly believe and I cried to the Lord and I spoke with him. I don't have money to storage food. I only have money to eat for today. So I know you're not going to leave me out here to dry. So therefore, I can't prepare for something if I don't have it unless you give it to me. So until then, my heart truly believes that everybody is just going crazy. The world is like going upside down with everything. So I think that, like you just said, Trump is being exposed for who he always been.
Mm-hmm.
That's his purpose of being in leadership is to see him who he is, and people who act like him is exposing themselves too.
Yeah.
So it's just a time, like you say, this is a time just to see people for who they are, and
Yeah.
that's what God is showing us. It's not so much God got power, and He's still gonna lead this world to how He sees fit, regardless of who's standing in that office.
Yeah.
Whether it's Trump, Kamala, or whoever, he's still going to direct it because he's not done with this world yet. This is his world. We
Yeah.
just in, and he's not ready for it to be over. It's man speaking of this world that it's going to be over. It's not over yet. I truly believe it's not. But I do know that, like you say, people are exposing, people are coming out. We see stars for who they are,
Mhm.
because we started worshiping and idolizing these people. And God is like, they are not who you think they are. So everything is coming out, and you're just starting to watch the world unfold.
Yeah.
And the only thing we can do is be a praying person in it and asking him to cover us as we go through these trying stages.
Yeah. Zakia, were
That's
you gonna
me.
say something?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback off of what she said, and I tell people this all the time. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't care for Trump, but one thing I can honestly say that I like about Trump, you know how they say you don't want if you don't want black people to know something, put it in a book. That's Trump. Trump been showing y'all who he is, but people didn't believe it. People want to say, "Oh, he crazy. He ain't." Da, da, da." It ain't that he being exposed. He been showing y'all who he is, but people just be like, "He can't be like that.
No, he
He just gonna
can't.
give him. He can't just playing. He trolling." Da, da, da." No, this man is basically telling you this who I am. Like Oprah said, somebody show you who they are, believe them. Like when they tell you that he been showing people for years who he is, but people just like, nah, he can't be like that. That man just wants some attention. He just da, da, da. It's just like they say he the epitome of put it in a book. If you want to trick you don't want somebody to know something. You don't want black people to know something. Put it in a book.
They and because they ain't gonna read it.
They're not gonna read it.
One thing I can say is like what Zakia said is when he got in office the first time, I kind of like I admired him because he's me. And I don't want to say he's me, but like if he just says what nobody else is gonna say, he says it out loud.
Yeah,
He
he
just
gonna say
says
it.
he just says it out loud.
What come up, come out.
It it got to a point where it was just like, yeah, he just speaks the truth, in the beginning.
Hmm.
And then it started getting a little weird.
Yeah.
It started getting real like,
It
oh
started
my
getting like
gosh.
it started getting to where he like, oh, I'm gonna keep saying it because they ain't doing nothing about it.
Because
Ain't nobody
can't
stopping me.
nobody say nothing to me. You ain't saying nothing. Nobody checked him, and nobody has checked him.
Case in point, the tax situation. This man been evading taxes for years. Y'all came and raided him, but y'all still ain't did nothing. How y'all
Nothing.
gonna let a felon run for president, but yet and still you can't be a felon applying for a job? Make that make sense.
All of it.
That's why when I get my printer, when I do my first hot off the presses, my president is a felon. They're my t-shirts because it's crazy because it's just like you said, he's it started getting he's oh, okay,
Start
he's
getting
speaking the
worse.
truth. Then he started getting worse. It didn't get worse. It's just the fact that they ain't doing nothing about it. And I said this. Oh, let me crank it up a notch. Let me
He's
see how
he
far I can push it, how far I
Let
can
me see
go.
how far I can go. He's always
Hmm.
been that way. He's always
Hmm.
been a racist. No
Hmm.
one said anything, and no one really brought it to their attention because of how he moved. He moved
Yep.
in such a way that they were just like, "Oh, he was just playing." No, no.
Yeah.
And then
No,
here
he's
comes
dead serious.
he was dead serious, and then here come all these people. All these people. So when we talk about what's happening right now, we are in the midst of a revelation. Okay. He is revealing who people really are. When we talk about your neighbor, never would have thought your neighbor, look at the neighbor. Boy, the neighbors are racist. Absolutely, they are.
Hmm.
They come out the woodworks. That's what he's showing us. He's like, I got to
Hmm.
show you these
He
people.
exposing, like they said, 24 was a year of exposure, 25 is the year of the reveal. Everybody that got exposed in 24, I'm finna reveal them to you in 25. Here you go. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put it on a
Let me
silver
show
platter
let me
for
show
you.
you. You
Yeah.
people heard about Diddy, but you really
Yeah,
didn't
do
know
what you want
Diddy.
with it. Do what you want with it. When Cat Williams was trying to tell people all these years, oh, he a crackhead. He don't know what he talking about. He da, 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 da. Just like the Orlando Brown dude. Oh, y'all listening to him. No, those people speak truth. You want
And
to
you
know the
think
truth?
they
Talk to an
crazy.
old person and a drunk person. And
Mm-hmm.
they ain't even got to be inebriated on alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be, they going to that truth going to come out.
Yep.
And
So
somebody else was saying the Jaguar White lady. Why ain't nobody shut her up if she telling a lie? Because she's not lying. She exposing these people, but they trying to make it seem like she crazy.
yeah, because of what she knows. No,
Mm-hmm.
but this is where we're at. We're in the season of revelation. And I was telling my daughter, we go to work, you're out on the street, your friends, people, you be like, well, now I
Mm-hmm.
thought,
I
I
thought
thought you,
There you go for thinking. Who told you to think?
Who told you to do that?
Pay attention.
Watch and observe. When we think about Jesus, when we talk about Jesus, I'm going to say when we talk about Jesus, when he was out with the Philistines, he heard their thoughts. He turned around, hey, who told you that it was illegal to do a certain thing? But Jesus knew them. He watched them. I watch people. I
Like
watch
I
their
tell my daughter all
movements.
the time, close your mouth and open your eyes.
That part.
Close your mouth and open your eyes. And she was,
Don't
Mommy,
be
what that mean?
don't be
Stop
in a
open.
setting and you just running
Just
your
watch.
mouth and you
Pay
talking.
attention.
Shut your mouth and just watch people.
Right. Keep your head on a swivel. I
Mhm.
tell her that every time. Watch your surroundings. I don't care who you around. Watch. Don't say nothing. Just
Just
read,
watch
learn how
them.
to read the room and just
Hmm.
watch people. Because she'd be like, Mama, you weird. You sit in the car and you watch people. I'm a people watcher. I said, you'll be surprised at the stuff that you see.
Yeah,
Like,
and it'll
you just
set
sit
it.
and watch people.
Just watch them. We went to my uncle had passed away, so we went to Alabama and we were in the Gulf Shore. So my uncle was like, "Oh, y'all going to the rich part?" We was like, "What?"
Mhm.
We didn't
Yeah.
know. We just got an Airbnb, so we're in there. So we go to Target, and when I tell you the way them white women was looking at us, and I looked at my cousin, I was like, "Yeah, I got," and I said, "I got money too." We got in the line to Starbucks, and the lady was kind of far away from the from the counter. And I said, I walked up, me and my cousin were talking, and I said, "Are you in line?" The lady turned around, yes. And I said, "Geez, like
Because
what's
y'all,
the
y'all was there off season. Yeah, they're not used to black people being there off season.
and
Black
then you're
people don't go to the
aggressive.
Gulf Shores. They don't go to the Gulf Shores until like April
Uh,
through September.
but you see how me and my cousin are. So she said it and she was just like, "Yes." And she
Oh,
turned around and I said, "Geez." I said, "What's the aggression,
right.
ma'am? Like why we got to be that way?" So my cousin was like, it's so my cousin talks and she said, "What?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "It was
Mhm.
nothing." I said, "I just can't understand why you got to be aggressive with people you don't even know."
Right.
So she went up to the line, but then she went and as soon as you check them, she went and sat down and she didn't
Hmm.
say nothing else. So it we are just in this time of revelation. People are you're being revealed, people's antics, people's way they treat you, how the government is. A lot of things are starting to come out, and you just like, word? Yeah.
Hmm.
But like they say, black people, that's why he told us, study to show thyself approved. If you don't know nothing, read about it. Go and study it. I'm finna study it. When Derek gave me this, I was like, Johnathan and David. I said, oh, that's an interesting concept because I remember what they taught us in church. And then I remember what people would say about it. So let me study it. God, give me what I need to know so I can give it to them in the way that they would get the understanding. Because he said, in all that getting good and understanding, it's the understanding of just having a relationship the way Jonathan and David had, having that relationship with God in that way. That it's a sincere relationship, that it's nothing that's going to be tainted, that it's not going to hurt you. We're not here to hurt you. I'm not here to hurt nobody. I'm here to just give you the raw, unadulterated truth and tell you, don't you do that. Or, hey, build your relationship with Him because everybody's relationship with God is different. The soul to soul connection with God is different than everybody else's. But now, what He's saying is just open your eyes. Like she said, open your eyes, shut your mouth. Just pay attention. Just watch them. Facebook, I mean, not Facebook, TikTok. I mean, they coming out. They
Y'all
getting
gonna still
called
shop at
out.
Target?
They getting called out. All of these things are getting called out. And it's not so much as why we got to boycott Target. I like shopping at Target. Matter of fact, I love Target.
I do too.
I love Target. Target just
But they
made a conscious choice to do something that God didn't tell them to do. That's why Tabitha
Mhm.
Brown looked up and said, "You're going to have to deal with him. You ain't got to deal with me. I'm not going to take my money from there. But I guarantee you, the God that I serve is a just God. He going to deal with the people at Target. He probably gonna shuffle them out, shuffle the people out of the way. Because then we understand, oh, so y'all really ain't about this diversity, this inclusion and all that. What is it? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. You ain't about all that. So now we see that. But why would I stop spending my money? God's going to deal with them. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's between
That's what
them
Sierra said.
and God.
Sierra said, I ain't gonna stop Target.
I'm not
And
finna stop. I
Brianna
like
was like,
Target.
Mama, you see how she be thinking. And I'm like, I got a $200 gift card.
I'm going to
I'm
go
going
shop
to
at
Target.
Target. I'm going to spend my money and I might just spend it on a whole bunch of black people. I don't know. But you can't like when we spin this narrative of saying that we should stop a thing. Yeah, I mean, what we should do is stop giving him our energy to say that it made us feel a certain kind of way. Oh, y'all don't do DEI? Oh, okay. Because
But
guess
you,
what
you know, think
you
back when Tommy Hilfiger came out and said he didn't like black people
stop
years
it.
ago.
When Gloria Vanderbilt, do you know when that was? In the
Hmm.
70s. That woman said, I didn't make these pants for black women. She said she
She
made it
sure did.
specifically for white women. She
And I used to
did.
wear them.
Gloria Vanderbilt.
Uh-huh.
Them the,
I
the
ain't got no
tightest.
booty, so it fitted me pretty good.
Yeah, she
So
said
it
she
was
told them, I didn't make these clothes for them.
Yeah, all of them did
Mhm.
Michael Kors, but I don't own nothing Michael Kors. I just
I have a
whatever.
bag.
Tommy
Uh, uh,
Hilfiger, all of them,
They
they
we
made
didn't
all
it.
of them,
we didn't make
all of
that for
them
y'all
is prejudice. So all
They
of them is
on it, but
prejudice.
people
So
still flock to spend their money on it.
because it's a
But
label. You're
with the
you are
DEI stuff,
basing what you
you
look like off of a label. That's why when I was telling Derek, it's not about your skin color, your ethnicity, your how you identify in your race or who you sleep with. It's all about your soul. Them clothes ain't
mhm.
gonna make you. Please. The label? Absolutely not. It's about what's inside of you, inside your heart. David was a king and was still a whore, whole whore. But guess what? God still loved him. Didn't change the relationship that he had. And God knew he gonna mess up. I know he gonna mess up. He knows us. He's like, I know every hair on your head. I know when they fall out. I know when they grow back. I know everything about you. He knew David was he here's the thing. He know Trump. He finna mess up. He finna mess up. He knows it. He knows everything. We just have to
Mhm.
trust that he's going to take care of us.
That's what I said.
We just have to trust him at his word. We got to take him at his word. That's why he said, "Try me. Just go ahead and test me. You think I'm not going to do anything for you?" He told us that in his word tonight. He said, "Just go ahead and test me. Just see." And what I'll do exceedingly abundantly above what even you can even ask or think. That's who I am. So when he told Moses, I am that I am exceedingly abundantly above what you can even ask or think. The thought that you're thinking right now, please, my thoughts are not even where your thoughts are at. It's in the word. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways, not your ways. I don't even think the way you think. Right now, us even talking about MAGA, we thinking low level. He's like, I'm not even thinking there. I'm trying to get you to a better place. And you talking about this man over here. That ain't, you're not even there. That's not even the thought that I want you to have. I want you to have thoughts of goodness, a hope, a dream, wealth, abundance, love, care. That
Mhm.
I'll take care of that. I promise you he gonna take care of that man. Can y'all hold on a second?
Tarina.
So how do you feel being on this
Sorry.
group?
Sorry.
I said, how do you feel being on a group chat? Did you
Amazing. And
do
you know what? For the first time for the year, I have a vision board and I put it on the wall. And there's literally like a group in it,
Aw,
like a
pictures?
photo. And
Ah,
now I just realized today that it started happening. Like that's the first thing that came about on the vision board.
yeah.
oh,
I
that's so
love it.
nice.
And I
I
appreciate
love
her
it
and us
too.
so much.
Oh, I
So
appreciate
Hmm.
you.
whenever I'm hearing her, I'm just like quiet
At
and paying
all.
attention to everything because yeah.
I am
But
too. She's a good teacher.
she's an amazing teacher. I told her
Yeah.
she should have a podcast.
She's gonna grow.
Yes,
But like she
absolutely.
said, God is God got to work some things out with Tarina. Tarina got to work some things out with the Lord too. And as it work it out, then those things will blossom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there's a lot of things that, I gotta deal with some things. And I gotta stop being um afraid of what people are gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's so many people out there. He's like, but so what? What I tell you to do, Saul, just what I tell you to do. Just do it, So I do have to go through those kind of things, but I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to go,
No worries,
ladies,
because I know you gotta go to
because it's
sleep.
2 a.m. here.
Oh,
Oh, good
Uh,
night.
okay,
thank
Derek.
you. Thank you for this time.
All right,
God
next
bless you all.
Wednesday.
Bless you
Okay.
too.
Thank you.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
All right.
He has such a good spirit.
I love him. He's a sweetie.
You can feel his, well, I can feel it. You know what I mean? I could
Hmm.
just feel the genuine, um, you know, he's seeking alpha, he's seeking like all of us.
Like everybody else. And so that's why I tell when you're called for a thing, it's like God woos you. The word woos you into his space. And he's like, come talk to me, come be with me, come dwell with me, come and build this relationship with me because I have some things that I want to share with you. And so us
Hmm.
being in that space with God is like that, you know, that's why he tells us, don't worry about anything else. Just come sit with me and I'll help you navigate through these things.
Right.
Yeah, but Derek, he lives in Portugal, Lisbon.
Oh, do
Lisbon, Portugal.
how he find you?
My when I was doing the readings.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I think I kind of remember him. It was a while ago. It was when you was doing the readings. I think you did a reading on. I don't remember his reading, nothing like that. But I think he was on TikTok and he came on and got a reading from you.
Hmm. Which I
Yeah,
need
and
to
he
get
meant.
back into, but this volleyball got me, man. When I tell you this girl, shoot, got me
I mean, it
going.
got. Yeah, that's true. It takes a lot of time. I think you'll see back in it, but it just got to be right time, right space. That's it.
Hmm.
Like everything else, it's not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
So it's just gotta.
Okay, so when we get back to Saul, before Saul was dethroned, he had a relationship with God, right? As soon as Saul went out and he moved in his ego, or he did not do the thing that God told him to do, what happened? He went a little nutty. Okay, we read it. And then you had to have a David come in and soothe your soul, but David was the one that was finna take your throne. He was finna take your place. So it's a matter of really getting in your mindset and understanding the enemy comes because you're not filling it with anything of God. That is what you need. You need to fill yourself up. The Bible says David encouraged himself in the Lord. David had to encourage himself because he didn't have nobody else, but he was a man after God's own heart. He didn't need nobody else out there encouraging him. And I know it's hard for us as Black women and as women to sit here and try to encourage ourselves because it sounds dumb. It sounds dumb, but it's the thing that'll heal your soul. If you get up every day and say, I am whole and healed, I am a wife, I am loved, I am appreciated, I am valued, because he said to Moses, I am, I am that I am. What do you need me to be for you today? God, give me today my daily bread. What do I need for today, God, to get my mind regulated?
Come on, Jesus.
Let my mind be in you, which is also in this word. God, get me in this word. You got to study to get you together. None of what we have been through in these past 3 years has anything to do with one individual person or me. The purpose of this group was for us to get together so that we can run businesses and we can be healed and made whole. so that we don't operate out of our flesh and let the triggers get us. Now we're 4 years in, and we need to be the ones that are out here being a testimony of saying, this is what I've got. Man, we have done so many things, but now we got to be the living word. Okay. So live out loud, but honor yourself in the moments. When you start feeling down, God, I'm not feeling great today. And I don't know why. What is this residue that's coming? Help me, God, to regulate what this feeling is. Write your story. Write it out. God, I don't know what's going on. Have a talk with him. Just sit with him. God, I don't know.
And I do that, and I don't hear nothing. Like I say it all the time because I don't like to feel like that. But I always, when I'm sitting here, I always like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I don't know what this is. I need it off of me. I say stuff like that. Like
So for
it's
you,
nothing.
when we think about that, what there was a Lisa Nichols had made this comment to this girl, and it was such a profound statement to me. The girl said, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And Lisa Nichols told her, because you've carried yourself as far as you could go, Zakia. Now you need someone else to help you go the distance. I don't
Mhm.
know if it's one of us, if it's to go to therapy, or just I don't know what that's going to look like for you. But now you need someone else to help you go across this finish line. Okay?
Obvious you can't do it yourself.
We can't, and none of us can.
Mm.
We are in a time right now, and what I said was God has revealed a lot of things to us. And in the revelation of who we are, do you know? I don't know why I'm finna cry, but I get so tired of people telling me, you need to get healed when I'm telling my story. And it's like, I have.
Yeah,
And then I think to myself, well, God, am I not? Am I not really healed?
right,
But it's like, God, I know that I am, and I know that I've come this far. I didn't make it this far. But God, if there's something else that I need to do, if there's somebody else I need to talk to, then God, help me get to that person. Because I don't want people seeing that, oh, like, well, she's got this residue and she needs to get healed. And nobody really believes that I am the coach. I'm the coach. I wouldn't have been a coach if I hadn't have gone through the healing process by myself. I couldn't be that person. But I said, well, God, if there's something else that I need to do, and I'm going to honor it, I hear it. And I said, well, that bothers me because I don't like people thinking that I have deep rooted issues. I
right.
just have an awareness. Now I got questions because I'm like, okay, so that happened. So now I got questions. Not that I need to go and sit and talk to somebody. It's just like, now I got questions because God, now what's really going on? I'm tired of that. People thinking that I'm weak and then they call me naive. I'm 53 years old and you calling me naive. It's just your sweetness. And it's just like, what? You think I'm not naive. Just like you said, I'm the one, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna let you do what you gotta do. And I'm gonna let it play itself out. And then when I say something, then it's okay. But see, because I already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm naive. It's just that, yes, am I a nice person? Absolutely. But you don't think that I'm asking God in the midst of me being nice about anything that I got going on? Not about me. So what I'm saying to you is that you got to get to somebody else. If it's not one of us, then find someone that can help you go the distance in this healing process. And that may look like going to a retreat and, one of those, what is that? Those spiritual retreats where we get down to the nitty gritty. Those, it's a lady that does these retreats and she really gets down to the core of what you got going on. Or it
There's a
could
lady.
be,
There's a lady in Georgia that in your area that does it. The
or-
women's retreats.
yeah, or you could just sit with yourself and tell God, God, I'm not going to leave here until you heal me. Who said that? Wasn't it in the Bible that said that?
So I'm not gonna let go until you bless me. That was Jacob.
Jacob,
Was that Jacob?
I'm not finna let you go until you heal
You
me.
bless me.
And that means, Zakiya, if you got to spend days, God, I don't care how long it's going to take me, but I'm not going to leave here until you heal me. And I know that I know that I know that I'm healed. Hi.
Yes, kid, you
Love you,
gotta
sis.
fight, honey. You gotta fight for this desire to end in you. It'll
Yeah.
always be in you because I think that you miss your mom greatly.
And as
And I
soon as she
think you
says
had
that, keep going. And I'm going to
you
read what
came
she said.
you was you've been very codependent on her. And I think that living without her has been very difficult for you
See, that's
and
the thing.
raising
I've
your
never been
daughter.
dependent on my mom. I've never did. I've never been like one. I my okay, so my mom put me out when I was 17, and I've been independent since. Like I've never depended on my mom for anything. Anything that I needed, I always found a way to I would figure it out or pray about it or whatever. But I never went back, and you know how you get those people be like, oh, I'm going, mommy, so get me out, help me. I was never that. And my mom would all she would try to help me. It's like I would use her as my sounding board to vent, but she would try to help me, but I
That's what I
wouldn't
mean,
let her help me.
codependent is in different areas. It doesn't necessarily means that you needed her for anything because your independence is who you are. But codependent can also mean her voice was in your head.
Yeah.
I need to pick up the phone and talk to my mom.
Yeah,
I
I want to
need
hear
to
her
tell her
voice.
what's going on I need my mom to know what's going on with
Yeah.
my daughter, what's going on with me. That's codependent. She been in your life and she been your sound board. You has been there and she's been there. And that void have not been fulfilled in you because you have not found nobody to. So you got to figure out how to feel that in you so that you
Yeah.
can miss her, but you don't have to be empty.
And
Does
see,
that
my
make
aunt
sense?
was my aunt was my fill-in for that, but my aunt just lost her daughter, so I don't even talk to my aunt like I used to because my cousin just passed away in August. She got her own grief that she's refusing to deal with, and and I'm talking to her and telling you gotta, cause my aunt is at the point where she's like, I'm 69 and gotta raise some 13-year-olds and like I let her use me as her sounding board because I know what that's like when
Mm-hmm.
you got somebody you that you lost and your child. I don't know what it's like to lose my child, but that's her child, her oldest child, her firstborn, and to lose your child, and on top of that, your child left behind children for you to raise, and you got health issues on your own. So I didn't want to spill my stuff over on her. So I sucked my stuff up to be there for her.
And then
So
you're
You see,
grieving. So
and
then
you
here's
grieving.
what
You
Allah,
hurting,
this
baby. You
this
hurting.
one says grief. Okay. Um, the goddess of griefs is the ancient earth mother Allah is the foremost Igbo or the deity. Goddess Allah oversees motherhood, fertility, and the afterlife. After death, humans return to the womb of Allah, replanted in the soul to reincarnate. Okay, so it says, give spirit your grief.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
bawl it out, wail it out, cry it out, sob,
Mm-hmm.
shriek, shed tears, surrender to it. Says
Mm-hmm.
you are holding unprocessed grief. You want to
Mm-hmm.
skip over it and get back to normal. But grief doesn't go away because you ignore it. The
Mm-hmm.
only way to healing is to walk through it. Losing a loved one is an ultimate heartbreak, but you also experience grief after breakups, job loss, and disappointments. Self
Mm-hmm.
love and self care are required. Ask for support. Be gentle with yourself. This is really now about you. Okay. You are on a healing journey and you do not get to divert. You do not get to go past go. You don't get to do anything but sit and get healed. That is what they are telling you to do. We reveal it, we bubble it up. So you got to deal with it. It's like a pot of water boiling on the stove. You got to deal with that. Okay. This is what they're telling you to do. And if you
Mm-hmm.
choose, this is your choice. Anyway, here we go. Masks, number 18. Jumbi. Is this it? Yeah. Where's the lie? Get quiet and get clear. See, they just want you to sit your tail down and shut
Mm-hmm.
up. Shut your mind. Shut your mind. Shut it off. Okay. Put your hand on your heart. Now, are you confused or are you afraid? Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Show your true face. Wearing a mask blocks your vulnerability and blessings. If you are wearing a mask, dare to reveal yourself. You are lying to others and to yourself. Wearing a mask is exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Be you. If someone else is wearing a mask with you, you deserve clarity. Your relationship and connection is built on lies. Their mask is a protection of your own. So listen, we get back to this Jonathan and David kind of thing. What if Jonathan didn't show his true self to David? And what if David didn't show his true self to Jonathan? You can't lie. I mean, lying to yourself about what you really got going on. I can't lie to myself and say that I'm happy because I'm not. Y'all don't know that, but I'm
Yes,
not.
we do. We do.
Right. And I mean, I tell myself, I tell people too, I'm not okay. Like you say, oh, I'm okay, but I'm not okay.
And
You're
I'm
not
not,
okay.
I'm not okay. And I will tell you, I'm not okay. There are days that I get depressed, but I get up every day. God, just please.
Yeah.
But I know
Yes,
my
kid, you're
happiness
not.
has to come from a space that He can heal me. If I need to go to therapy, God, then find them. I went on a search and seas trying to find a therapist, literally trying to find somebody. Couldn't find anybody. He led me back to the first lady that got me where I was at. I haven't even reached out to her because I'm thinking, well, I don't know if she's mad at me. I don't know if I should go back. I don't know what to do. So I've just been waiting. But at the end of the day, like I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm
And my
tired of being
problem
by
is,
myself. I'm tired of doing this by myself. I'm so tired. I'm tired of going back to things that don't serve me. I'm tired of that. And
yeah,
it's
my
like,
issue is like with my daughter, like I could go back to therapy, but right now I can't because for me, my insurance is tied up in it because my daughter's still going through therapy. She's going through her own therapy from what happened, a year ago, whatever. Which and it's I don't want to take that away from her because it's working for her. It's working for her. But at the same time, it's like I feel like I need to go back to my other therapist and talk to her. Which I'm like, I know I need to go do it, but it's like, where do I? At what point do I cut off my daughter's therapy to get? Because I can't afford to pay out of pocket. I just can't do that. I can't
so
afford to pay
Got
out
a
of
then
pocket.
question. Do both if both of y'all go to therapy at the same time, insurance won't pay for it?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. My
no,
insurance
they only
only,
cover one
yeah,
part.
one
So
part.
Oh,
here's the
okay.
thing. We know that we need that help right now. And remember when we got to this place and I had told you guys that we had finally made it to the island and we got off the plane and
Mm-hmm.
then we just it like the sessions just stopped. Like we hadn't met with each other, we hadn't seen each other, and then I was going through my thing and then all this stuff was happening. We hadn't seen each other and then we finally come back and it was at that point that I didn't know what else to do. Like it was like, okay, God, I got him here, but now where do I take how do I what's the next step for us? And it was because I needed that. So it's one thing for me to get you guys to this place, but then it's another thing for me to say, okay, so now I need this guru or this person that will not only help me, but will help all of us. Right. So that's what right now we need that because we can't walk into any kind of miracle being like the children of Israel, murmuring, complaining, and doing things that we know we should not be doing in the first place. It's futile. So it's a matter of saying, God, I know I need help. I need someone to talk to. And so, I don't have the money. He knows. We talked about that. He know. Now, God, I don't have no money to go to therapy. Little Tater Tot doing therapy. So I need you to help me find some kind of therapy. And I don't know, is Wednesday night the therapy? Is Sunday night the therapy? And if it is, I'm sorry that I haven't been showing up to give you that service. My life is over here. When I say life in life, and it's not a bad thing. It's just this baby girl got me. When I say now, I said I wanted to
But
travel.
but
I
Sakia, let me
said,
tell you something. You need to learn to pick up the phone, and you need to learn how to talk to each sister. Serena might not be available, but I might just be available. I have a connection with you as well. I don't want to see you go down this path, spiraling out sometimes and go through the sadness that you do go through because of the fact that you holding it and you don't want to be a burden to somebody.
and don't feel like you're
Sometimes you
worthy of this friendship. Like, what?
pick up the phone.
It's not that I feel like I'm not worried. It's just I like she said, I don't want to be people like you just said, life is life and life is life and everybody. Everybody going through something. So I don't want to be put my burdens on nobody else. Even just to use somebody as a sounding board. I
Well,
know
God might
everybody
just
got
make
their
me
own
strong
thing
that day. I
going
might just
Right.
be
I
daddy
might
up
need
for
to
you.
give you a word. Jonathan and David. Jonathan's daddy he was trying to kill his best friend. David is like, man, you didn't think life was life. I mean, we just read it. We read the whole story. Life was life, and for both of them. David out here running from his daddy, Jonathan out here trying to protect him from his daddy, and they just life was just giving him what he needed. But he's listen, man, I'm not gonna never not be there for you. This is just me in this time talking. I'm never not gonna be there for you. I know my daddy's crazy as hell, but I got you. Listen, Zakia, I know I got shit cracking. Okay. And I don't want to say it's cracking, but it's just like things are just happening that I have to take care of this. I have to. Because if I don't take care of it, who else is gonna?
right.
But in the process of me taking care of them, I'm failing myself because I'm not taking care of me.
Right.
It's always something. There's always a movement. And then, I just told the girl the girl that I was talking to, I told her my kids don't call me just to say, "Hey, mom, how you doing?" Or, "Hey, mom, I just wanted to hear your voice today." Or, "Hey, mom, I just wanted, you want to go have." I don't hear that from my kids. When that phone rings and I see their name, it's just like, "What now?" And
Right.
then I get the attitude because it's like, "What?" And I don't want to be that way to my kids. No one calls to check on me. Nobody. I just went to a funeral for my uncle. And you know what my auntie said? "We got to do better." I said, "No, you got to do better. Because don't nobody call me." I just went, my cousin, I just told her, "You don't get to talk to me fucked up. Nobody don't get to talk to me fucked up because I don't know y'all. You don't know me well enough to make the accusations. You don't know me well enough. Nobody calls me." And then when you show up to a funeral, they surprised, like, "Oh, what is she doing here? Who told her?" That's what I
Right.
heard. My family, my daddy's family. "Well, you need to go see your dad." Does anybody ever tell him he needs to call his daughter? Does anybody think you could just put him in your car and just bring him on by to see me? Why do I always have to be the one to do that?
Yeah.
I'm weary. I'm so weary and just showing up for everybody. And then I can't even show up for myself. And God forbid if I do, then it's just like, "Oh, she's tripping." No, 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 I'm not. No one thinks about how hard it is for me. This baby don't come in when she come in this house. Sometimes, y'all, she don't speak to me. She don't say nothing to me. She comes right in the house and goes straight downstairs. You are getting picked up and dropped off every day. You walk in this house, you go straight down the stairs. Now of late, I've been saying, "Hey, mom, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm okay. I'm doing fine. My day went great. My day was fine." Today, you know what she did? She got out of the car. She came in here and she said, "Mom, do you have $3 on your Cash App that you can give me?" Backed it up and was like, "Hi," and then proceeded to ask. Any other time, she wouldn't come in here and speak to me. Would not. And then when I say something, then it's just like, "Oh my God, chill out." No,
Right.
no. So we all need it. Tara down there dealing with her mama, just God, lead Jesus. Can you imagine what we are all going through? We are all going through something. But I'm never going to fall short and not be your sister, not be a Jonathan to a David. I'm never,
Mm,
or a Ruth to a Naomi. You think I'm going to let you just be be out there? And I got to work on those things. I have told y'all sometimes I don't call because you know what I deal with every day? Miss T, hey, I just called. I wanted to put in my application and I don't have a job. And so I need this. I got homeless people that my empathy, the empath in me just like, oh my God. And I'm looking at these people and I told this man the other day, I said, sir, I know you can do better. You just choose not to.
mm,
We make conscious choices. God made us free moral agents. He made us free, Zakiya, to do whatever we wanted to do. But if I tell you to go and do something, if I tell you to go get healed, just do what I tell you to do.
mhm.
Don't go out
You
here
gotta
doing
get healed.
don't go out here doing nothing other than what I told you to do. You ain't got no time to be looking for no relationship. None of us do.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
We don't have no time to look for no relationship. We don't have time to do anything but get healed and to be healed for real. Because there's a generation that's coming up behind us, and these little funky tail girls ain't they, by far have no idea the battles that
no,
we have to fight that our
no,
mamas didn't
no.
fight. Our mothers just settled for somebody just to have stability and didn't teach us what stability really looked like. And guess what
Mm.
we doing right now? We finding it out. We finding out what stability really looks like to be a woman
And
who walks in masculine energy. I don't want to keep doing that. Walking in just being out here. Well, I got it. Well, I got it. I got it. No, I don't need you. We went to Greeley. Baby daddy was like, you can use my car. Nah, I got it. I wouldn't took care of my own thing. I got it. Cause why? I want to just be able to just wake up one day, y'all, and just have a man bring me a cup of coffee and be like, baby, I got you. Your car's filled with gas. Matter of fact, you ain't even got to get up. Go on over here and just lay down. We finna
You're
take a
right.
trip. That's the man I want. A man to call me and be like, we finna pack your bags. We going.
Mhm.
The man that'll come and say, you ain't even got to cook dinner tonight. I went and got food
Yep.
because he wants to, because he sees she take care of all this stuff by herself. I don't want my baby to have to worry for nothing. But you know what we get with these sorry ass niggas and we just settle for them because it's just somebody there. It's a warm body in the bed. That nigga don't want nothing and he don't and we can see he don't want nothing.
Yep.
But we accept him because our mothers accepted the bare minimum of a man just because
Yep.
they didn't teach us what it was like to really be loved. What does that look like? What does it feel like to really be loved and valued by a man and to be able to just walk in my feminine energy and be like, I'm happy.
right.
What is that? Then our daughters are watching us with these sorry ass men and we make
Mm.
excuses for these niggas. No, I'm so tired of it.
Over
So
it.
we all of us need to go and sit and do some couch time and be like, listen, I don't know where the money gonna come from, but I
I
know
got a
God,
therapy. I
if
got a
you,
therapy.
I need it. I need to get back because God, if you
But
reveal it to us, then show us how to heal it.
yeah,
And if we can't go to therapy, God, then you come be my therapist and let me sit and talk to you and tell me everything that I got going on. Because
I know
that's
I
what he
went to
says.
bed and
Give
had
me your worries. Give me the worry. I think we just read that tonight. Give me the worry. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Give it to me. Tell me what you got going on. God, I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of waking up and not being able to cry. And I don't even know why I want to cry. I don't even know where this is coming from.
sometimes
God,
just cry. Just cry.
God, what is it?
Sometimes we gotta just cry. We
I
ain't
try,
got
but it ain't never been hard for me to cry. But when I feel like I can cry, but like it's like I don't have no more tears. I don't cry so much. I can't.
And maybe that's time for you to get mad. You ain't got nothing else. Now it's time for me to fight.
What is
We,
this 12 stages of grief? And it's 12 or something?
I
It's
don't know,
7.
7.
How many is it?
Mm-hmm. 7.
but we
You
got to
need
get
to
it, people,
go through the 7 stages.
people is
Because
dying.
she's right.
We
Left
got to
and
get
right.
ourselves together because our daughters are
Mm-hmm.
watching everything that we do.
And that's what I tell myself. Like, I know I don't. And that's why I try to get myself, like, mentally together because I know my mood affects her mood. And I don't want her going to school with a messed up mood. So I try to keep it upbeat in the morning when she getting ready to go to school. Because I don't want to mess her day. I don't want to, and I always tell her, I always get on her about setting the tone for your day.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, we're going to set the tone for your day. You're going to have a good day. Try to keep her in, in good spirits. And we laugh and joke when we on the way to take her to school. And it's like when she go to school, it's like, okay, well, I got to deal with myself. I'm with myself 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
And out
So
of
Do
them
you
like,
put on
10,
do
give
you put
him,
on church music?
yeah, I listen to church music. I listen
I
to a
think you
little.
need to not work at home no more. You need to be with people. You might not think you need people, but I think you need people.
and even if you don't, work at home, go to the library, find some outlet
But she's
to
not gonna
get
do
out
that.
of that when we've talked about that, we did
Hmm.
get out of that hole and get somewhere where you'll be able to be amongst other people so you won't just be sitting in there because your mind is idle and you're not thinking on anything else and you just I got to work, you do your little call and then you probably just go back to what you're doing. But even in the time that you're at home, Zakia, give God at least 15 minutes. Give him some kind of time. If we talk about relationship, because that's what we talked about, Jonathan and David, we talk about, we didn't even talk about Ruth and Naomi, but when we get down to the root, the friendship, it's really the Jonathan and David. Man, God, this is what I got going on. I don't even know how I'm going to make it. I'm tired of being in this space. Where do I go today? What am I supposed to do? Having that conversation, building that relationship with him. Just like I told Derek, you have to be able to have that trust and building a covenant with God. So, like I told Derek, give 6 months. God, 6 months. I'm not doing nothing else, but I'm gonna focus on you, and I'm gonna focus on what you tell me to do. And then 6 months after that, I'm gonna focus on everything else, whether it be the relationship or whatever it is. But 6 months of healing, that's what Esther went through. She went through 6 months of cleansing, 6 whole months from January up until June. 6 whole months of just being healed, going to therapy, doing your thing, focusing on you. I don't give a shit about anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I care about me.
Yep.
These 4 kids over here, I have learned to just and I'm not even gonna hold you. I let them have it. I don't say anything, and as hard as I want to say something. I just okay, and I walk away. I'm learning to just walk away and not try to give them any kind of advice or not try to be like, so what happened? Or what does your mail say? Or what happened? I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that.
Figure it out.
I can't do everything.
Okay.
I'm doing everything for everybody else but me. I got a
Um,
room for us to go down to this goddamn volleyball practice. And I was like, Trina, you done sat here and you done got a room for her. Next time, get a room for yourself and start doing sacred moments for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't always got to do it at home. You can do a sacred moment for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to and I don't want to call it the shittiest hotel, but go to an inexpensive hotel and just, I'm here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And just take care of yourself. We can't do everything as a kid because if we could, we would, but we cannot. And God knows that He wants us to stop walking in this masculine god dang energy that I mean, we just walk around and it just illuminates off of us. I want to be soft.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be soft. I just, like what is that? The waiting to excel. I just want to and be just, man, that I don't have to worry about dinner, that I don't have to worry about rent. I'm
Mm.
sitting here right now, y'all, and I'm wavering between, do I get a room or do I pay my rent? Because if I don't pay my rent this month, it's going to be late next month.
Yeah.
But we got to make sure that she gets to practice to this whole thing on time. Do I do this or do I do that? And I sat here and I wavered and I said, God, you know what? I'm just going to get this room and whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. You know
Yeah.
what I got going on.
Yes. But he ain't gonna let you be homeless. So get the room. Because he'll get you caught up.
And then I went
They-
back through it and then I found a room and it was cheaper than what I was about to pay because I was about to pay 500 or something. And I halted it and I said, I'm not going to pay that. And I said, because we live in Denver and we could just go downtown, but I don't want to do the back and forth because these tournaments don't end till like 8 o'clock at night. And I was like, I
yeah.
just want us to be as close as downtown as possible so that way we won't be late. I'm not going through traffic. I'm not doing anything. And so I happened to go back through and then I found a room that was cheaper and I paid like 200 and some dollars. Because I said, well, we won't check in on Friday night. We'll just check in on, Saturday and then we'll
Saturday
stay
morning.
down there until Sunday. So it's like
You had to work.
do you know what I'm saying? Like I got to work around it because we'll be home on Friday. She won't go to school. We'll just go downtown. She got to be down there at 2. And then we could just, Saturday morning we can get up, we can go to the hotel, I could check in and we could just do what we have to do. But those kind of things. Like I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, God, like, nah, man, this is not how I want to live. Living paycheck to paycheck. Like, who wants to do that?
Nobody.
So when we talked about speaking into the
Mm.
void is God, I should be having 6 figures. Okay, I shouldn't have to worry about, getting anything or buying groceries or doing something like this. And then on top of that, I got to get snacks. Just got to have snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much that's going to cost me? I'll tell you about a
Are
hundred
you
some
getting
dollars.
like? Are you getting the ones that because you said at one time they had put it like on a certain type of eating,
Yeah,
like
so she
yogurt.
can't have like fast foods. She has to have like yogurts, granola bars, proteins, peanut butters, and stuff like that. So that's enough in itself right there. $50, 50, I'm sorry, $51 and some change just for the access band to get into the event. $291 for the room. My whole check is just, but I can't complain about it because I'm like, God, I thank you that I even have a job that even got direct deposited today for me to be able to do what I'm doing now. But I'm weary in it, Zakia. I mean, I feel where you're at. There are days when I just want to break, like I just, like when you go through those days and you just want to break. Like you just want to stop and just be like, I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm finna cry right now. I'm finna just let it be.
Now,
But we
guess what, sisters? I'm not gonna let y'all be, okay? Y'all
but
go.
you don't because then who we got to be strong.
You
There's
got to
no one
be.
there to pick up, where we like if we drop and I don't want to say drop the ball, but if we
You
stop
can't let the ship sink. You can't let the ship sink. Like
Mm-mm.
you cannot let it sink. You got to keep going. You got to keep
through
moving.
the tears and all, we got to keep on
Keep
moving.
on going. It's not at all.
Put the anchor down. Just hold on. Let me drop the anchor because I got to get this off me.
Right. Just like they say, the weight of the world. That's the weight of the world. Like that's
I gotta,
nobody's gonna pick you up.
yeah, yeah. Then I gotta focus. I gotta get back in focus and be like, then I gotta come upstairs and then I gotta wipe my tears off and get back behind the wheel of this boat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These niggas don't know. She
No,
going
they
through
Right. You gotta
don't.
something.
put on your. You gotta put on your what they call that.
Your big
The
girl
black
panties?
face. Yeah, you gotta put on
Yeah.
your black face.
So
And
nobody
shuck it, and you
know,
gotta shuck and jive. You just gotta learn how to shuck and jive behind a fake mask and just be like, oh, I'm okay.
But they're
That's what
telling
she
us
just
we
got
got to
through
stop
reading.
doing it. We got to
That's what
stop
she just
wearing
got
that
through
mask.
reading.
Shoot, we got to stop doing that. Can you imagine just all the shit that we got going on, each and every one of it? And we got to sit here and we got to be behind the wheel of this boat.
Mm.
I feel a little good today. I was down. I had my own moment this morning, but nevertheless,
Yeah, we got to
God
get
will.
up. We got to
He's
keep
gonna
going.
bring people to you in order to preach it through you, in order for you to receive it, so that you can be the output of it.
Mm.
Yep. And
So we
that
just got to sometimes support each other because you still have to have this interaction. This interaction right here on this screen is to let us know we're not alone.
yeah,
We're
we
not
all
alone.
going through something. But we have to be able to teach those women that are going through it that don't have this, how we made it through, how we made it over the mountain. I had a man ask me that. He said, "How did you know when you were okay?" This is one of my homeless clients. And he mentioned it. I said, "Yeah, I was homeless too." And he said, "When did you know you were going to be okay?" And I said, "I just knew." There was not a light bulb moment. It was just like I just knew I was going to be okay. But I felt like I had to make it okay. And I had to trust that I was going to be okay. And not being okay for me, but being okay for my kids. So when we say that, like I gotta be okay for my kids.
Mhm.
I gotta be of sound mind, body, and soul and spirit for my kids.
You know what? I'm finna stop saying that. I got to be a sound body and mind for myself, Jesus.
Yes.
I
Because if
can't, I
I'm not
can't,
okay,
I can't
yeah,
get past it. I got to stop getting past the kids. That's my problem. I've
Mm.
been doing it through the strength of the kids. God, I got to do it through the strength of who you made me be for me
yeah,
wholeheartedly. And when I learn that and understand that and do it, I'm gonna be okay because my strength have to be for me. I gotta fight for me. I gotta love for me. I gotta be for me. I gotta be my cheerleader for me.
yeah. Like
I'm too
David said, they said David encouraged himself in the Lord. When we get up every morning, before my feet hit the ground, y'all, I'm like,
yes.
I am this, I am that. And I close my eyes and I say things that just come to me. And then I get out of the bed and I go to the bathroom. I have to encourage before my feet hit the floor, I gotta encourage myself because I know today, God, I don't know what today's gonna bring. But
And
I
I
gotta
just be
be able to
asking for
speak life to
strength.
myself.
Mm, that's what I'm saying. I'm no good. I am not good for nobody else
Not right now.
because I have to learn how to be good for me.
And we screaming, we want relationships. He's like, for real? You want that? You sure?
No, I have to be good for myself right now. I have to
Yeah.
fight for myself. I have to fight for my peace. I have to fight for my mental. I have to make sure I'm okay. And
Because if
right
we
now,
I'm not. I know I'm not. And then
hmm
we get in these relationships and that dude say something to us messed up. What's gonna happen? We finna
True.
lash out at that nigga and call him all kinds of funky names.
Mm.
Tara, how you doing in your relationship? Because he's down there, you up here.
He is struggling very. He's struggling. I think a little depression because I'm not there.
Hmm.
So my kids say he's not eating, and then when he do cook, he's making like jail food. But he's not doing good at all. Not at all.
But this
He's very
separation. Yeah, this
he's not
separation. He's
he's
what
not
now?
doing good. He's not doing good with the separation. It's a
Hmm.
trust issue, because this is our hometown, so all my exes are here and just a whole bunch of mess. Not, who you talk to anybody? I'm like, look,
I don't
that's
have.
not the type of person I am. I don't
Yeah,
have time.
yeah.
I kept telling, these last 30 days, I'm like, my dad is ill. Then it was my dad is dying. I don't have time for you right now. Not in that manner. If you're gonna call me to support me, do that.
Hmm.
If you calling just to talk crazy to me, I don't have time for it. So
Yeah.
He's not doing. We're not doing good in the separation. I'll say we. I'm fine with it, you know, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
He even asked me yesterday, "Do you even want to be with me?" I was like, "Where did that come from?" He said, "Cause you act as if you okay with it." But I think to myself, I've been married 3 times.
Yeah.
I've given a lot. And now it's time for me to pay attention to what I'm doing. And I told him, see what spirit has for you in the midst of what's the lesson in this journey.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not selfish when it comes to those things. I believe people should fulfill whatever spirit has for them.
And
You
whoever
know,
she is, I pray that she give you everything that you need because it may not be
yeah,
me.
it may not.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I said, I know you need to heal. I need to heal. And I'm not going to stop my healing to accommodate you and yours.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I can have a conversation. We could talk about it. We can pray about it. But I'm not going to argue. I don't want to argue and I don't want to battle. It is what it is.
We too old for that. Oh, we too old for
Yeah.
this.
I'm like, he's close to 60. He's 56. Come on, stop it.
Not yeah.
I
50
don't
some
want to.
years
It
old and
don't
we have
stop his insecurity. It doesn't stop his love, and it doesn't stop him missing you. It's like he does not know now how to separate himself from you because he's so used to you being with him and even nurturing him, and
And
he
that's the
doesn't
thing. You
have
hit it.
that.
That's it, Tangela. Nurturing him. Nurturing him. He wants all the attention. It's not a good look. He's very selfish. His selfishness is screaming,
Hmm.
but he can't come before me. No, 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 no.
mm-hmm.
No, 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 no.
I
Come
tell
on,
my
He's
daughter,
girl.
healthy. Hmm?
Trials and errors made you strong in that.
Yeah, he can't come before me. I'm not gonna do that.
you're not gonna
I'm
put
not,
yourself yeah,
I'm like, and you're at my house in my bed. You need to do what you need to do.
acting a fool.
Yeah, I was like, you make sure them bills is paid. I'm working hard. You can at least acknowledge me. I don't, and maybe because of everything I've been through, you know, I'm like, what do you want me to say? And then when I say, hey, honey, you're doing a great job, no response. Girl, bye.
Yeah, because you
Back
don't
and
know what
forth.
you want. Yeah, and you just
Back and forth.
like I just had when I went to Greeley, I made that resolve. I resolved within myself that I wasn't going to come back, and even though Greeley's an hour away, that I wasn't going to come back and do the same thing with the person that don't want to with me. And
Mhm.
so I just, I stopped giving just the attention, because it's like I got to really pay attention to what's making me happy. That's not making me happy. So I just said, God, I really got to take care of me. And I don't
Yeah.
know what that looks like. And I told God, I don't know what that looks like, but I know that I got to take care of me. I really got to take care of me. And I got to honor me in the space that I'm in. And I have to honor the fact that, I was in the shower and I said, God, I got a group of women and I'm out here just, what do you need?
Hello.
Um, and I said, and I got a group of women that that I'm coaching and I'm ministering to. And it's like I'm failing myself in that. Like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not honoring you in that thing. And I said, God, I created the, you helped me create this group that I've been wanting to create since 2004. And now here it is. And then it's like today was like that eye opener when we read about Saul. It was like, and then you're doing the bare minimum, and then you're not even doing what I told you to do. Because guess what I can do, Trina? I can give this to somebody else. I can give this ministry to somebody else and they will do what I've been
Ooh.
telling you to do. Do I want that to happen? No. I don't want that to happen. But it's like I created this group, God, because I know what I needed. And I had to become the person that I needed. But it's like now it's like I need to grow and I can't grow with a man that doesn't see my value, that doesn't see my worth, that doesn't see me as um like just doesn't
A
see
partner.
me.
As
Yeah,
a
that
partner.
doesn't see me as a partner and doesn't say, you know what, this is what we can do. It's like you're only thinking about yourself. Well, my
Ain't my
55th. I'm thinking
selfish.
about my 55th. I thought, what? So you can't
Selfishness.
get us a room because I didn't have a credit card at the time. Well, I don't want to say a credit card. Like, my funds was, and you couldn't get us a room because you're worried about your 55th. It was like,
Did Did you get your passport? Did anybody get their passport?
I've already had my
Mm-mm.
passport.
Why?
I gotta, because it's time to start doing, going,
Not yet.
booking it.
Oh yeah.
Booking trip. Yeah, I'm gonna
Booking
get mine.
trips.
Booking
Yeah.
trips.
Like
I agree with you. I'm gonna get mine too because Brianna had mentioned it the other day. She said we need to go get us a passport.
we
Yeah,
do because at this point in the game, right now, Black women are not, we are the number one demographic that is the most hated. We are the most unprotected. We are the most, um, but we're
disrespected.
yeah, disrespected. We're dishonored. We're disvalued. We're the most, but we do a lot. We
We
do
do a
so
heck of a
much,
lot.
but we don't get credit for anything that we do. We give birth to children and we don't get credit for that. We get,
Mm-mm.
we do a lot of things. But now it's time we got to do for ourselves because if we can't do for ourselves, how we going to do for somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
That's like with me, even though, coming up here the way I did, but my kids in that house, they like they realize how much I did because
Hmm.
I'm not there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we miss you. Like we finally realized, wow.
Yeah.
Because they would say things that would hurt my feelings and like I'm in the way, even Al. It's just like, you act funny, you walk by me like you don't see me and we in the same house. Now I'm not there.
Now you really
And
Mm-hmm.
get
I
to
don't
see it.
now you get to see it. And I don't
Hmm.
call him.
Don't,
I do
don't and
not call
don't
him.
and don't. I do not. I don't reach out to you. The
Mm-mm.
only thing I reach out to you is to tell you about Natar, and I really was about to be petty and not tell him, but I'm like, well, let me tell him that. But it's the same here. Like I told you, they don't come and say, just it would be nice just to have that phone call to say, "Hey, mom, what are you doing today? How you doing? Just wanted to hear your voice." It's always something. I gotta talk them off the ledge. I gotta,
Mm-hmm.
help you and reason with you with your baby, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I'll
That's how
do
I
it
am
this
with
day.
Mikhail.
I gotta
And
do
he
it this
acts,
day.
baby, he nearly damn be cussing me out half of the time. I
Yeah.
feel like the man downstairs. The only thing he ain't did is whoop my ass yet. Excuse me. But all that cussing and all that getting angry, he needs medication so bad, girl. It's ridiculous. But guess what? Guess what? I gotta
Got a
fill this
pen.
cup. I gotta fill this cup.
I thought you was got a pen. I got a pen
I'll
for
go get it.
my cousin bought me a pen for
Yeah,
my birthday.
I'll get it.
Oh, you
They
got a
got you
pen?
what?
She
A
bought me a
pen.
pen for my birthday.
My
A p-
girlfriend keep on, a friend of mine keep on telling me, girl, get you a pen, get you a
I
pen.
gotta Let me tell you, I'm about to show y'all
She
my
said
pen.
it's the best
And
thing.
and this one is pineapple and grapefruit. Okay.
Uh-oh.
This is the best thing
Look here,
ever.
maybe you might need a pen. You need a
You need a
What is
yeah,
pen,
it? What is
Takia?
that, Tara?
It's a THC pen,
yeah.
sativa.
Oh, a pen.
Make you relax.
Yeah,
Make
I
you
need to give me
chill.
one. What,
I think you need to get one, Sakia. I do. I
Let
You
think
me
know,
you
I
tell
do.
started taking
you
ashwagandha,
should
so that
mail me
just makes me
one.
chill.
You should put it in the
Huh?
mail.
it's
Put it- Go buy some. Go to the Dollar Tree and get some tampon and put it in a tampon box and mail it to me.
that how you do it?
Is that what
My
you
Yeah.
do?
cousin she bought me this from Connecticut. She came down for the funeral and she was
Mm,
like, she said, I'm gonna
yeah,
bring you something.
I
It
This
need
is
do
the
one.
best thing.
relaxes you.
Yeah,
It do.
I used to smoke weed, but I scared to smoke weed. Now these folk putting fentanyl and everything. I ain't got
Yeah.
time.
Now go
No,
get you a
go
pen.
Go
go to the
get you a
pen.
pen.
Go
This
to
is
the
sativa.
I
yeah, you
have
gotta go.
gummies. I eat gummies, but I don't like fruit snacks. So I still my gummies still over
Girl,
there.
get
Like
a pig.
Go get
Get
you
a
a
pen. Go
pen
get you
and
a pen. Go
just
to the what you call that store?
the vape
the
To
store. But
The
see, we
no,
dispensary.
not in a legal state, so it ain't gonna have THC. It ain't gonna have hemp.
Oh, this ain't hemp.
um
This tea.
I'll mail you
Yeah, it
one.
ain't
I'll
THC.
I'll
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll,
Oh yeah,
I'll mail you
Colorado
one.
got it going on.
Oh yeah, Colorado
I'll
got
tell
the
the
good stuff.
kids,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to mail it to you. I don't know how I would do that. Could
I
yeah,
just told you what to do.
but can I mail it in like
A bubble wrap. Like go to the Dollar Tree and get one of those bubble mailers
okay,
and put it in it.
okay.
Mhm.
I'll mail you one. I'll tell the
I'm
Okay.
girls to go
telling
get
Because
one.
I mean,
I'm gonna text you my new address.
Very good. And
yeah,
I'll
cause
tell
sativa.
the girls to go get you one. Now, do you want something to make you relax?
Yeah. I
Okay.
need something to make me relax.
yeah, I
All right.
think
So
she
I'll
need
tell the
because her
girls.
mind races. Her mind races
Yeah,
too
I'm
hard.
an overthinker, and my mind races like
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
shut it
you
up. That's
gotta.
why I had to buy that L-theanine, whatever that stuff called.
I got some ashwagandha that helped me.
And you
I
take
have
it
to take
with
that at
a
night.
Sakia,
That's the
and you
thing.
take that with that pen too.
I have to
I
take
want
that
you.
at
Oh
night
Lord.
because it's gonna make me sleepy.
You finna have her knocked out. Just
I'm
My
finna have her
God.
feeling so
I
relaxed
gotta
where her
work,
mind
honey.
is.
Cause y'all up there y'all in the legal states. I need to come up there.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have
we
my
right.
is.
kids get
Let
you
me
one and
pay
I'll
me a
mail it.
$54 flight on Spirit, come to
I
Chicago.
better not get in trouble for it.
You not? Don't put your
I
don't
mean,
put
it
your
just
don't put your address on there. Just put my address and do like a bogus address and just put like whatever
I can wrap it
something
in
else.
some clothes, huh? I'll just put
Yeah,
some like a shirt in there or something, and wrap
yeah.
it in
Go get
that.
the bandana.
I'll do that.
a
Go
Cause
to the
she,
Dollar
bandana.
Tree
baby,
and get a bandana.
cause she needs it. And I promise you, you're gonna pray a little bit, read the Bible a little bit, and God.
Whatever.